Hello everyone and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 100. No, it's not 100. 201. I'm still not used to it that we just broke 200 episodes. Today we have patch 8.2 live on all regions, EU, NA, and Oceanic, or whatever other regions we have. And we know that this can get very overwhelming for people, lots of things to cover, so we will help you get started and make sure that you get through all the content. My name is Annie Fuchsia, or also known as Annie, and we have a special guest today who
Well, I don't know if special is the right word. I'm not sure if special is the right word. Let's not paint that kind of a picture, please. By the way, I'd like to commend you on messing up the episode last week and this week. That's a fantastic job. We're in the 200s, Annie, okay?
Yes,
we're in the 200s now.
We
please.
are in the 200s. I'm so used to 100 and something, and then it's 200.
Well, you did say 100 something for 100 episodes, so
I did.
We'll see if it happens in a couple of years when you get into the 300. You continue saying the 200s.
Probably, yes. It'll take me 100
by the way,
episodes to get used to 100, and then we're already at 300 now.
The camera might shake a little bit. I'm not in California. It's just I'm on a standing desk, and I laugh and move a lot, so just fair warning. I'll try to stand still.
I would also like to introduce myself.
I was just going to say, I would also like to officially introduce Perk right here.
Hi, I'm Perk. I run Wowhead. I'm not at home, but I thought it was very important to do this show, so that's why I'm here with the picture of myself on my phone. And we will be discussing everything patch 8.2, as well as the things that have been popping up since the patch, like the store mount, which everyone loves, as well as the 2 surprise cinematics.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm very happy that Brutall has joined us with short notice.
You're just saying
really appreciate, when we have more people around, when there's especially a new patch, so we can hear different perspectives on things.
Definitely. It's very nice to have you here, Brutall. And maybe now we can have an official introduction for you as well. If you want to tell
wait, that wasn't my introduction a minute ago?
It wasn't meant to be, but it's okay. You
can
have 2 intros.
Introduction?
Yes.
Oh, I got it. I should leave.
It's okay. You can have 2 intros. It's fine.
This is highly embarrassing. Oh, jeez.
No, it's great. It's great.
I'm going to get a nasty email after this show, ladies and gentlemen. And Perk's going to be like, Brutall, what have you done? You stole my intro.
We'll be like, this is not the proper order of things.
No, it's great. I'm sure people loved it.
Yes.
Yes, best guest
Brutall.
ever is a comment in the chat.
I wouldn't go that far. Brutall, the full, Twitch URL, YouTube URL, whatever's Brutall Static. I've been playing WoW for a long time. Very family-friendly stream. Been at it for years and years. I've got a son. I've got a daughter on the way. My wife's here. She's hanging out. So I'm just here to relax and have fun and try not to make a fool of myself more than I already have. No promises. And yes, Loktar Ogar, represent for the Horde. I'm already getting some compliments in chat for that.
I'm not sure if the guest is good anymore.
For the Horde.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I
What?
don't know.
Yeah.
Ketsu, I think you made a mistake.
Listen, Ketsu and I have been we used to raid together for many years as Horde players.
Oh no, Ketsu's Horde too?
I have some people spamming for the Horde in chat. Represent?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I know Ketsu anymore either. No, but that's awesome, because we normally have I'm not sure if I'd call it a bias. I think we try to stay pretty neutral in general in the topics, but we do have both Perk and I being for the Alliance, so it's nice to get a little bit of other perspective here.
2v1 is not balanced. That's imbalance.
You're gonna have your enlistment war mode bonus up.
Oh yes, you're gonna get your war mode bonus. Yeah. Also, you got Ketsuki in the chat, so there's that. So you've got her in spirit.
Listen, I'm being told I'm pretty loud. I warned you guys. I get animated. I'm sorry. I'll reel it in. I'll quiet it down.
I turned you down a tiny bit. This should be great.
I'm sorry.
No, don't
Taylor.
be sorry.
My
it's
apologies.
We're cool.
It's a good thing.
I'll whisper.
It's a great thing. But yes, we could start off the show with news that just came in less than 30 minutes ago, I believe. Am I right?
Yeah. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
It's now a thing that Blizzard does shop mounts when there is a new patch.
Wait, was the other one also exactly around patch time?
Yeah, the Vulpine was right after 8.1.
Oh, well, there you go. And in case you guys haven't seen the picture of it, I will show how it looks like. And
so this
yeah.
is
I think
the
it looks
official
kinda
name
cool.
is the Silverian Dreamer, and you can get it for $25 or part of a 6-month bundle at $77.94. And in the fine print, there is an important message, which
which
that
everyone will miss. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you already have a 6-month recurring subscription, you will receive this mount for free until July 8th, 2019.
Okay.
May I say something?
Yes, of
This
course.
is a fun fact. Can you pull the image of the Severian Dreamer back up on the screen, please?
There
This is
we
a
go.
fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
I promise not to go on too many tangents on the stream today, but fun fact, the face of that mount is the same face Katsuki used to make when we raided together and I yelled at her for wiping the raid. That's a fun fact.
Well, that's
True.
a beautiful face.
Man, let
Very
me tell you,
fierce.
she made it often. Often.
Oh no, she says, okay, I'm leaving.
Oh, don't leave, Ketsu, please. I need you
Yeah,
here.
you're getting
Moral
rid of
support.
your forward backup.
You're losing your
Moral support.
moral support, indeed. Making this a 2v1
I love
again.
Ketsu. Let the record state. She's the sweetest.
So yes, basically to answer the question in chat, the mount is if you're planning to play every month for 6 months, it's technically free. But if you prefer not to, purchase 6 months in one go for financial reasons or because you're not sure if you'll be playing, then you can also decide to just purchase the mount for 25. Is it $25 or euros? I'm not sure. The standard mount price. There we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
standard mount price.
Whatever the standard mount price is. It's so confusing with currencies sometimes. And a lot of times I treat dollars as if it's the same as euros, but it's not. I think in euros it's actually... It might be 25 as well, but in that case it's more expensive for Europeans because the dollar is worth less. So the more you know. The more you know. So yes, you can purchase in 2 ways. 6-month resub or by getting it directly for a standard mount price.
Yeah, and I just pulled this up, but going back to the idea that the mounts are coinciding with patches, I looked up when the Dreadwake mount returned to the Blizzard shop, and it returned right when Crucible of Storms came out on April 23rd.
So using the mounts as a sort of icing on the patches.
An incentive.
Yes. An extra reason for people to come back. Or extra reason
I
for
think it
people to
looks
spend
cool,
money.
to be honest with you.
It looks amazing.
I think it looks amazing.
It does look amazing.
Everything else aside. I think it's probably one of the best looking mounts that's been available in quite some time.
I haven't seen it
the wings,
in action.
I don't know if we have the video up,
No.
but the wings are super iridescent. Maybe
I was just gonna say.
I don't know if you can play I don't know if you can play the Blizzard video quickly, but like we should really show off the wings. So
let me take. Is it a YouTube video?
Yeah, it is. They just added it up. Actually, after we started the show, they just popped it in, and it's now in.
Okay, I think I see it actually. There we go. Yeah. Let me make this bigger. Might look a little bit pixelated in this size, but yeah. Oh, let me play it again. Yeah, that looks amazing. Those little light effects. What about the body of the mount itself? Is it a unique model? I'm trying to.
I mean,
I'm not.
It looks like a kind of standard dragon, but with I don't know, like it's wearing a cool helmet. Almost looks like a.
It feels like it looks a bit different, but I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, as an example, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You had the example. I was just being like, ooh.
Like, yeah, I'm in game right now. I'm on the Infinite Time Reaver.
Okay.
And it definitely looks like the exact same skeleton, that the mount. The way that the legs are formed and the wings, how they bend a certain way, and the neck droop and everything. But
the texture is different. Is it different in any way?
Oh yeah, As far as I can tell,
Like
it's
Mm-hmm.
maybe the claws are the same, but other than that, it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So we could still say that it's probably unique in the sense. Oh, okay. Apparently, it's the same body as the enchanted Fey dragon with the buff arms.
Mm,
Okay,
there you go.
there
Oh,
you
I
go.
could see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I felt like the body itself doesn't look like the regular dragons
Yeah,
that we
the
have.
wings have sort of like a beefier effect to them, and sort of the same color changing vibe. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it is a very pretty mount.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
just
is a very
that,
pretty mount.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's of course, the ages old debate about shop mounts being the coolest mounts, and
Yes.
how this deliberately lines up with new patches. But while the timing does seem to be related to marketing, lots of other games will throw in things for you to buy when they have their updates as well. So,
Yeah, I mean, do you think there's anything to say this time around due to the fact that we as continuous subscribers will get it anyway?
Yeah, I
What are
mean,
your
we
thoughts on
get it
that?
for free anyway. I think that's fine. If anything, the only thing I learned from this was that no, it wasn't a coincidence that once or twice in the patch it lined up with a patch. It seems to be more of a pattern now. I think was the sort of notable thing about this.
Do you think with this 6-month thing, they feel like they're more likely to have more frequent mounts? Because then most people who play regularly won't complain because they'll get it for free. Otherwise, I think there might have been more outcry. Too many shop mounts. Like, I can't buy a new mount every single patch.
Yeah, I think offering it for free was good. I also think the messaging was different than the Dreadwake, which made it seem like you had to get it now or else it would like go away forever.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like,
Maybe
yeah,
they
you
realized
can
it
get
was
it now
bad.
with your bundle.
Mm-hmm.
You get it for free anyway, or you can just buy it separately and have it forever. So there's no, buy now or we'll go into the vault for a day and then come right back after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like for us regular players, this is so much better than just a mount coming out onto the store. But I can see how 6 months can be a long time for some people. I mean, $25, that's like 2 months of being subscribed, isn't it?
A little less, but more or less.
Yeah, like a month and a half.
Okay. Yeah. I guess there might be some people who decide to just get the mount alone, but I feel like the 6 months is definitely worth it if you play regularly.
Yeah, I mean, inevitably, there are people out there. I'm sure there are tons of people out there who buy every mount when it comes out and farm every mount when they come out and whatnot. So Blizzard will definitely make money off of it. The question is, how will it be perceived? How will it be, looked on? From
Yeah, plus I'm sure they'll have it's very eye-catching, and they'll be using this mount on all their marketing materials. So, if you're playing Overwatch or Hearthstone, you'll see this cool mount on the launcher, and you're like, oh, like, there's a mount in this game I used to play. Should I pick it up? Oh, it's tied to this patch. And maybe they hope to get people playing other Blizzard games, playing patch 8.2, using the mount as the shiny carrot.
I see a question in chat. Didn't they do the 6-month sub with the pirate ship mount? Yes, that's the Dreadwake, right? I think that's what it was called.
That was back toward the beginning of BFA, right?
Mm-hmm. So that was the one where they made it seem like it was going away, right?
Mm-hmm. They're like, oh my god, get it now.
Limited edition.
Going away. And then Blizzard did the whole Blizzard Vault thing. So people were like, oh yeah, like, they removed some other stuff. This must really be going away.
Oh yeah, the timing with that. That is very true.
I remember that. That was back in the beginning of the year. This year, right?
Yes.
Oh boy.
And
that was fun.
Also, it was very interesting because it was a ship, which is pointed out in the chat as well, that didn't have water walking. So it was a ship that couldn't stay afloat.
Yes, and now in patch 8.2, the Dreadwake can finally
float.
Sail. Yes.
Can finally sail, yes. But it's like floating in the air, so it's still not really doing what it's supposed to, but it's still funny. I actually had to do that as soon as I used my mount equipment. I was like, wait, my ship can now float. Yeah. It's great.
So I actually, like a while back, we data mined icons for new toys and some other things. And this mount was one of the mystery things, and we were speculating on when it would be added to the game. So I'm trying to look in my massive archives to see if I can find the rest of the icons to see if there's any mystery ones. And if there is a mystery one, I bet that will be used in, patch 8.3. Oh, I think I found the post. Yay.
Wait, the
Okay,
icon
so
with this mount, what is the one that you found?
yeah, I'll
Okay.
link it. Ooh, this could be something. Okay. So I just linked the post, and if you scroll to the end of the post, the big highlight of this post back in December was, oh my god, a pig icon, and it turned out to be Shuzen, the Divine Sentinel. But if you scroll to the end, you see that there are 4 more icons, and the first one is the mount we just found. Then we also had the Fox icon for the Vulpine Familiar part of this. We've got Alliance and Horde rockets, which were then used for the in-game esports toys. And we have this mysterious cloak icon that we still don't know what it's used for.
Yeah.
So are we getting new transmog coming to the shop? It looks very Heart of Azerite-like.
It's clearly a flying mount.
It could be a carpet.
Yes, exactly.
Azerite carpet.
Yes, Azerite carpet. Wait, that's interesting. So a possible cloak on the store.
I mean, to me, it looks like a cloak.
It does.
I mean,
look
they've
like
had
a cloak.
transmog helmets.
They have, yeah.
Yeah, they removed them. That was part of the going away, see you later bundle.
It's anyone's guess.
So, but yes, there's every icon from that mystery batch has been revealed now except for this cloak.
And everything happened to be store stuff?
Yes.
But a cloak, like, I don't know. Do you think anyone will be convinced to buy a cloak for real money?
No.
I guess they'll see.
Like, how special does it have to be? I mean,
Pretty special.
The only cool cloaks I can think of were the MOP legendary ones because they had that effect.
Maybe
like
this
the
could have
visual.
effect like it could have like a cloud
effect.
of Azerite around
Yeah.
you. It could be blue and yellowy.
Yes.
That could be something.
Maybe it also gives you slow fall.
Ooh.
That's just
and
pay
then
to
that
win.
could
We
help
can't
you-
take it that far.
You can use other mount equipment.
Relax, please.
Pay to win. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Unless you're super, super into collecting, why would you buy a cloak from the store?
Well, didn't they have... Weren't there the cloaks as part of the BlizzCon bundle this year? Last year?
Yes. But
So,
they were
I don't know, maybe
special
someone-
Alliance Horde ones. And I think most people were actually disappointed by those.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying that maybe they, 6 months ago, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to make a bunch of cloaks and see how they turn out. So they've still got a few that they have to share.
JD Saphir in the chat. Make it an eye level 500 cloak.
I'd buy that. Sign me up.
Definitely not pay to win. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'm really curious because the headpieces that they had before, they stood out, so I can understand. Like, I wasn't a big fan of them, but they did stand out, so I could understand why some people would want to buy them. I'm finding it hard to see how a cloak would stand out, but yeah, you never know. Maybe there's some kind of visual Azerite effect. I mean, Azerite looks cool, this sort of golden bluish glimmer thing that it has to it. So maybe.
Yeah, and we are getting all the legendary rank 4 essences with the cosmetic
They're
effects.
also cosmetic, yeah. So maybe they had some leftover cosmetics and they're like, let's slap it on a cloak and put it in the store.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Like, it
But
looks
yeah,
beautiful,
yes,
but we
we
don't know what
will
to use it
see.
on.
Yeah.
I guess
So-
we'll see.
Speaking of the patch,
Yes.
we don't have a lot of news and PTR discoveries because 8.2 came out, but we thought we would talk about what you should do first, and then some of the things you should try to do every day, and recap the obvious stuff, and then some things you may have missed. And throughout this, you can ask us questions if you're curious, if Wowhead has a guide but you can't find it easily, or if you wish we covered something else on the site. And we will try to answer your questions on all that. So, what should people do first? in patch 8.2 if you're like busy with work or thinking of playing on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend logging into the game first and foremost.
Yes. And logging in actually pops up the first quest as well, right? Onto your screen.
Yes. See?
Impossible
on the right
to
track
miss.
already.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
that quest
Go ahead.
will take you to Nazjatar, and that starts with the quest, the Wolf's Offensive, or the War Chief's Order. And if you're like, I don't care about this underwater zone, I want my essences, you will need to do a little bit of Nazjatar to unlock the quest, to access the Heart Forge, and unlock your first essence. So you have to do the Nazjatar intro if you want to do that quest series from Magni and start putting essences in your Heart of Azeroth.
Mm-hmm. And you'll know that you're done when you see Magni offering a quest there in that main little hub, right? So when you see the quest from Magni, then you know you're good, and you don't need to do more quests in the zone after that. You just hop into his quest line.
Yeah. Also, worth pointing out that if you're like, why did Wowhead cover all these essence quests on the PTR and I didn't see them in game? Your heart needs to be certain levels to access the more interesting parts of the quest line where bad things start happening as you travel around parts of it. Mm-hmm. So those are things to look forward to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so then you return back to Nazjatar, and you can keep questing, and you will eventually get to unlock Mechagon, which is also important because you can't just go there on your own. You have to do part of Nazjatar, so keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. There are also, you need to keep questing in Nazjatar to unlock Benthic gear, so that's all the gear with the prismatic mana pearls going up to 425. Mm-hmm. As well as the bodyguard system, which you need to do if you want to do the war campaign. You need the bodyguard up to rank 3.
Yep.
And if you're like, okay, but you know, why do I need to do Mechagon? Isn't it just like gnome stuff? If you do the Mechagon quest line and defeat rares, you can unlock the pocket-sized computation device, and that's the trinket where you get the punch cards that are red, yellow, and blue. And you can add a bunch of, different powerful effects and make the trinket into something that really works for your style of gameplay. There's like 30 different options you can use there.
Mm-hmm. And they seem to be quite rare as well, especially if you're targeting certain stats. You're probably going to want to kill a lot of rares in Mechagon to get the combination that you would like. Unless there's further quest lines that will give you some of the stats that you want. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
and also yes, they can Titan Forge. I noticed that as well in my groups.
Ooh.
Yeah. Some of these are only from Operation Mechagon, which is the dungeon, which
okay.
You can't do until Season 3. I feel a lot of people were confused about this because there was such an emphasis that Season 3 was like the Mythic season, Mythic Plus, but the dungeon was not available in Mythic Plus. But no, like all the dungeon stuff is coming in Season 3, whether you can do it in Mythic Plus or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people expected the dungeon to be available straight away, but it is not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing you can do is explore new island expedition maps. It is Crestfall, which may ring a bell if you're familiar with the original Warcraft campaign, as well as Snow Blossom, and there are some new cosmetic things to collect there, but most of us are just caring about Azerite there instead. So, some scenic variety.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people have been doing the island expeditions now again, since we can now go above 50 in neck level.
Yeah, and I believe some of the Azerite essences are also related to, things that you can get in islands.
Yes.
This next one, we are back to mounts. Another controversial topic. I'm sensing a pattern here with mounts and controversy.
Leave my mounts alone.
Mm-hmm. So, as you all, I don't know, maybe people forgot, the Water Strider has lost the water walking effect, and this was changed because mount equipment is a thing, and you can customize the utility of your mount now. And hopefully that means that less people be going around on the exact same Water Strider mount. So now any mount you can socket it with like items that can give you slow fall or water walking, all different things. And if you have the Water Strider, you should check your mail for a free mount equipment that grants water walking.
Yes.
And you can put that mount item on anything, so you can go back to using, Invincible or Mimiron's head, or things that look more distinctive than a Water Strider.
Hey, you watch your mouth. That Water Strider's done us a lot of good for many years now.
It really has.
I can't believe you.
I actually would have preferred if the Water Strider was stuck with water walking and you can't equip it with anything. I think I would have actually preferred that.
Yeah.
Because I know was it, the golem where you can't use
the
equipment on it?
Sky Golem, right?
Yeah. The golem, Hell couldn't get other stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have preferred that.
Yep.
But yeah, now you can have dragons with water walking. And the Dreadwake, the ship, can now float on water. It's great. I tried, so I can confirm. Also, a couple people asked me or were concerned because they deleted the item, not realizing what it is. I mean, I'm sure creating a ticket is probably no issue as well. And maybe you can even just get it from the vendor. But what I noticed is that the item got sent to all my alts. So just log an alt.
Yeah.
So if you, for whatever reason, misplaced it, just log an alt and you'll find it so you can use the mount equipment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, however, but I believe I'm correct in this, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a per character thing, right?
Is it?
The reason why all of our characters have the item is because my rogue can equip water walking, my warlock can equip something else, and so on and so forth.
I actually had no idea.
Yeah.
So if you want to go get water walking, if for some inexplicable reason you deleted it, you weirdos, you can go down to Nat Pagel and Krasarang Wilds, whatever. Let me look in the map. Hold on.
It's also
I think it's south of Krasarang Wilds.
Yeah.
It's in Krasawing, whatever it's called, Wilds.
Krasarang,
and it's down just south of the Incursion, I believe is what it's called. You can buy it from Nat Pagel for like 10 gold or something.
The more you know. I did not realize that it's unique to
That's why I'm here, folks.
That's why you're here. Yes, keeping us
Bring
up to
the
date.
truth.
Also, if you did delete it, it's actually pretty cheap to buy more of them. So blacksmiths can craft water walking equipment, but it's way cheaper to get it from the anglers instead.
Yeah.
So, going back to stuff to do, I didn't. Oh, well, that's later in the show. I was going to say that you should level up your professions to 175 because we were just talking about professions. Because the cat has raised on them. Yeah.
Okay, that's enough, Luna. Leave me alone.
So you have a cat, I have a toddler who does the same thing. It's terrible. She try to break him of the habit, it just doesn't work.
She went from being super lovely to suddenly wanting to bite me.
Aww.
Yep, that's my son. That's a fact.
No bite.
Absolutely.
All right, I think she's kind of calm now. But yes, where were you, Perk?
Oh, I was talking about something. I was looking at the wrong part of the notes, but another thing you should do first, as opposed to just a cool thing you should do in general, is if you're a Tauren or a gnome, complete the faction quest line to unlock your heritage armor. And I don't think Blizzard really mentioned this, but you also get a cool little item that goes along with the armor that's just like a fun toy. And if you're the gnome, you just need to be 120 and exalted with the gnome faction. But if you're a Tauren, you also need to complete the war campaign, which makes sense as that involves, rescuing Bane, who kind of is your leader.
This is alliance bias ready. What is this?
I know
gnomes have less work to do.
More difficult than the alliance one, but I guess
unbelievable.
Well, they're smaller. They can take on less things. Makes
you
sense.
also had it better with the other heritage armor, like the Magcar armor has 3 tints, and the Blood Elf armor has the skirt and
that's just because the Horde is better. I mean, we know that. That's just the way it is.
I don't know
all
that.
This extra customization or no extra work, so now things are balanced out.
For the Horde, thank you, Teddy Ruxpins in chat.
I also discovered with this that I don't have a max level gnome, even though I have probably over 15, 20 or so characters above level 100 or 110. I don't have a single gnome. which is
I
funny
have a gnome at
because
120.
Wow.
What's wrong with you?
my original character, my warlock, she used to be a gnome. And everything else that I created were either human or night elf, pretty much, or blood elf if it's horde. And then I have like that odd one character here and there, which is a Tauren because druids could only be Tauren at some point. And then I have an undead because I thought it would be cool to be something weird looking. But I don't have a gnome at high level. So I'm gonna either have to level from scratch to get this
Well.
heritage armor or race change something.
Unbelievable. I thought this was a professional show. What is this?
Well, I'm glad that you think it's bad that I don't have a gnome. I completely agree. Gnomes are great.
Even I have a gnome. This is crazy.
Wow.
I'm actually planning to
This
play a
is
gnome
crazy.
warlock for classic as well because that was my original race.
Yeah, you have to level that gnome.
Yes, I do. I will in classic. For my regular account, I'm not sure. I might do a race change. It takes there's too many allied races. I'm working on all of my allied races. I maxed my Void Elf. I maxed my Dark Iron Dwarf. I'm working on my Lightforged Draenei, which is above 100 now, which is nice. So that means I can just do my daily Legion invasions. I have my Nightborn that I'm still working on. I just created my Magar Orc today. There's a lot of alts to level. I'm not sure if I can make myself level a gnome from start as well. At least with a gnome, having a race change is enough to get the heritage armor. With these other ones, you have to actually level the whole way. And they're all worth achievement points. How am I supposed to get my achievement points if I don't level them? I have no choice.
I can respect that. That's fair. That's a lot of. It is a lot of work. I mean, upkeeping multiple characters, a full-time job.
Yes, good thing I'm a streamer.
That's very true.
Good thing I can do it then.
So
yeah, we also
another-
have.
I was gonna say that one more thing you might want to do first, if you happen to like battle pets, is that there's a new challenge pet dungeon which has unlocked, which is Strathholm, and you want to start getting in there and earning all the special currency tokens so you can save up and buy the special pets from the dungeon and eventually start doing the rare encounters in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts on what you should,
Perk,
do
I think you
first?
knocked it out of the park. Our work is done here. You've listed everything. 8.2 is done.
Well, I was
There's
gonna say
nothing
like,
left to talk about. Ridiculous.
you
Yeah.
should update your add-on.
Yes.
I can
Updating
talk about
add-ons. That's a
I
good
can
one.
talk about add-ons. You know, I've written add-on articles for Wowhead before. That's a true
Oh,
story.
really?
Yeah, why don't we put that in the intro?
Yeah, why didn't? Yeah, Annie.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
like an answer to that, please.
So Brutall made it.
Good grief.
Perk knows about it, but I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
the one that puts it in the
Yeah.
notes. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't know everything. Pepper
Yeah,
hands.
what?
Terrible host. I'm trying to think of things that people should consider or should remember to do, but I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I found that I'm playing a rogue right now. I recently I'm playing less of my warlock and more of my rogue.
You
for
leaving your
whatever reason. I
warlock?
know. No, never. I'm not
Okay.
leaving it. I'm just playing more of the rogue. But you know, the rogue's a little bit behind the warlock. So now, and you guys reference this, now that the necklace can consume AP again, I'm going back and doing some of the more prominent AP missions like the Glaive of Old Jin and whatnot. So if you've been sleeping on some old quests that award AP, now's a great time to do that. And reference to 8.2 specifically, there are multiple ranks of essences. So something else people might not be aware. Wow, that's a voice squeak. Might not be
It's
aware
okay.
about
He just hit puberty.
is I did. I know
Yeah.
this just popped in
It's
overnight.
tough.
But you may not be aware of this, but doing things like killing players in Mechagon, killing players in Nazjatar with war mode on, gives you the opportunity to increase ranks of your PvP essences. So look deeper than just rank one of your essences. There's a lot of things you can be doing day to day, week to week to grow those and grow in power and whatnot. And that just gives you more depth and more layers in what you can do. And I'm having a lot of fun kind of skirting around Nazjatar right now, my rogue, just sapping and killing people while I'm talking to Annie and Perk. So if you get murdered by Brutall,
you're one of those.
get wrecked.
We
Oh,
do
no.
not condone brutal killing alliance
I do.
players in
I do.
Nazjatar.
I
Especially-
condone it
outnumbered.
greatly.
You cannot kill warlocks.
Muchly.
No. Especially no Morlocks.
I
Stay away from
I actually
those.
just murdered a warlock. I had to go find his name.
No.
Yeah, rogues
I
are
did.
awful. They're like warlock killers.
I did.
Poor warlocks.
No,
I found
there's-
myself finishing the main quest lines of both zones. So I finished Nazjatar, including all the world quests and everything, and then I moved on to Mechagon because I wanted to be done, fully explored and everything. Then I moved on to Mechagon and I finished all of that as well. And then I ended up spending a few more hours there just to kill rares. So that's how I spent my evening last night. It was
Yep.
it was actually great.
Yep. It's there's something to be said about a big patch like this because the game seems so fresh and so new,
Yes,
and
it feels great.
you get to dive in and enjoy it. And it's something that I've been saying to my stream a lot is what makes in my opinion, what makes a patch worthwhile and purposeful is how do you feel about that patch 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
There are a lot of long-term things to dig into with patch 8.2, and of course at the end of the day every patch eventually reaches that point to where it's like, okay, I got my flying, I got my essences, I got this, I got that. Give me something new, Blizzard. But 8.2 is a big patch. I mean, Perk just spent 15 hours listing off like a million different things
Yeah.
going on. It's
Yeah, that you
crazy,
should just
right?
do day one.
Exactly.
I was also gonna say that
8.2 is a big one.
Yeah. Looking at the traffic trends for 8.2 so far, there's a lot of diversity in the traffic. So, for example, when Season 2 hit, it's like, oh, everyone's looking at the raid guides. Like, it was very obvious what people were doing. But we're seeing with 8.2, people are looking up all sorts of content from, pet battles to essences to rare spawns.
Oh, so it's very mixed.
Yeah, so it's very
That's
mixed,
interesting.
and I think that means that there's a lot of things that people can really sink their teeth into, and it's not just, you have to follow this very obvious gameplay path. You can enjoy the game in different ways.
I'll tell you something I didn't enjoy the other day. Prince Wiggletail. That guy's a
Oh,
jerk.
yeah, he got
Just got nerfed. Thank God. I couldn't kill him. It was
He
impossible.
was like the number 2 traffic page on the site.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thinking Wiggletail, man.
Yeah, he's so
Wiggle
cute,
out of
but
here.
he's so
Grief.
evil.
My goodness. But it's been a lot of fun so far. We're today's Thursday? 3 days into patch 8.2.
Yeah, like
and patch 8.2 landed like 5 hours early on Tuesday, which was nice. So had a lot of time to do that.
It was really early for us in EU as well. I believe the servers were down for like an hour or two max, and it was supposed to be down for 8 hours, so it was great.
Yeah.
I did
They
DC
do that
twice
to cover
though.
their butts.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
want to do that to cover their butts, like, oh, like long. They're gonna say it's like super long, so when it's actually not that long, everyone is happy. Versus
Feels good,
promising.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, people go to bed. Like, people don't bother sitting up. So then when it actually launches, it's less people to worry about. So it's easier for them to manage, probably. But yeah, I DC'd twice and experienced slight lag when I was summoned to Fabius. And also, my bag add-on is bugged, so I can't open my bag when in combat. Apart from that, everything has been great.
Are you using Bagnon?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's fixed today. It wasn't earlier. Maybe it is now.
Speaking of this new patch, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Please.
Okay. Oh, so one of the developers at Blizzard, Night Mook, had a tweet which I thought was interesting, and it was, I want to give our QA team a special shout out for giving me a special treat today. I left work without sending a hotfix on patch day for the first time in 7 years worth of patch days.
Wow.
They did an exceptional job of preparing Rise of Ashara.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is.
So it seemed really smooth.
Yeah. That's great.
It has been. I haven't had any issues on my end. The one issue that I ran into that's not related to Blizzard specifically was my plater nameplates weren't displayed, but I got that resolved. I'm not sure if the bug is still there, but there's a quick fix in case anyone doesn't know. I'll tell it everyone. Type in /plater, go to enemy NPCs, and uncheck quest NPC color, and your plater nameplates will pop back up. I'm not sure if they fixed the bug. I didn't update my add-ons today. Yeah, it's an add-on called Plater. One of the guides I wrote on Wowhead actually.
Yeah.
So if you use Plater, there's a quick fix for that. It may be patched by now. I didn't, like I said, I haven't updated in the past 24 hours, but that was bugging me the first day.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually don't use any plate add-on. I used to use tidy plates, and then...
Uh-oh.
What?
Well, I use something that I started using recently, actually, because of PvP, called flight plate buffs, but it doesn't really change the plates themselves. I just use the larger nameplates option in the WoW interface, and that's all I do. I
Okay,
used to
let me
use
find you my Wowhead guide on how to set a plate. Hold on one
Yeah,
second.
it's
Let
a
me
good
Google
guide.
this.
I
I
like it.
used to
Hold
use
on.
tidy plates so that I could see my dots on the target, but then
Yeah.
Blizzard implemented that into the original UI or default UI, so I don't need it anymore.
Sure.
So
The
I just
plater
I don't
looks
use
so
it.
nice. There's
Yeah,
so
you
much
don't
you
know,
can
different
do.
things.
I think it looks fine as it is. I don't know. I like how
Well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on
Yeah,
that.
I think now Annie's outnumbered 2-1.
oh no.
Use
I just feel
Twitter.
like if things are working fine, I would rather not use an add-on. I'm like that kind of person. Not because it's annoying to set up or anything. I don't mind setting
We'll
things
talk
up.
after the show. I don't like this at all.
Oh no. Apparently Aegis in the chat says if you use Plater you will change your mind. I don't know.
You will. I'm
Oh,
telling
now
you.
Aegis is here, so it's like 3-1.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You guys are ganging up. I don't know if I can be convinced. I mean, I'll take a look for sure. Maybe you can link one of your guides here in this.
I will.
In this page here.
I will.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it right now.
So,
Yeah. Moving on, we can also go through all the new 8.2 things that you should keep in mind to do on a daily basis.
yeah. So, one thing that you want to do for several different reasons is to work on your reputation with the Rustful Resistance and the Unshackled and Waveblade. There are a lot of reasons. You need Revered with them to get flying.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do them to unlock different essences. If you're a collector, there are mounts and pets with all of the factions.
Mm-hmm.
And including I think the cosmetic effects and some interesting toys with Paragon reputation. And there are lots of different things you can do for these factions. It's not as cut and dry as like the 8.0 factions, which were just the world quest. So there are things like pet battles or little events going on. But yeah, you want to unlock those essences. You should work on reputation, those factions, and flying.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So the one thing I've noticed with Mechagun, because listen, I'm one of those people, whether you agree or disagree, I want flying in the game. I want to fly. I'm excited
me
to fly.
too, to be honest.
So
Yeah.
I'm all about grinding that rep right now. I want to take to the skies.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize this day one of Mechagun, but please somebody could let me know if I'm wrong in this. I don't mind being told I'm wrong. I hear it all the time. But there are daily quests sprinkled all over Mechagon that don't show up on the map. Is that true for everyone else out there?
Yes, this is
Like they're
very
all over
true.
the place. There are in Mechagon. There's a daily quest around 6379. There's a daily quest today specifically around 6127. These are estimates. Again, I'm just basing this off of memory. There are daily quests all over Mechagon that don't show up on the map. So you literally have to. I don't think you can fly around Mechagon today. But yesterday you could fly. You could actually fly for 20 minutes at a time. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So I flew all over Mechagon, finding a bunch of them. Today I
right.
just rode around Mechagon.
Yeah, if the construction project that's the Rustful Armory is up, you then get the anti-gravity pack, and then you can fly around the zone for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So that's not active now?
I don't think it's active
I don't think
at
it's
the
one of the
moment.
construction projects for today.
Okay, that was so good, especially for farming rares.
Yes,
It was amazing. We're
awesome.
flying everywhere. I actually finished like
man.
half the achievement for killing all the rares. It was
That's
great.
awesome.
Mm-hmm. So it rotates.
Hey, real
okay.
quick, I'm gonna hijack real quick. How do you get the guy in the cave? He's painting. How do you get him to spawn? The star pops up on the map.
I know what you
How do
mean.
you get him to spawn?
I forgot his name. So he shouts orange if you'd noticed. So you have to go to the what is it called? There is a section to the east of that where you have to go and pick up orange paint basically. And when you have the orange paint, you go back to him and then he can activate.
Give
I
it up,
forgot the
Randy.
name
Why
of
she's the
area.
host. Why she's here.
See, I know some
Yeah.
things.
Honest how it is.
I was
Um,
pulling it up in the Wowhead Mecha guide, but you beat me to it just knowing where it was.
oh, apparently it's not always orange. Okay, so in my case it was orange, but apparently it can be other colors. So does that mean if it's not orange, you have to pick up the color from a different place, or is it still the same place?
I think it's all in the same area. There's like green and orange and some
So
other
yeah,
colors
so
there,
pick
if
the
I'm not
color that
mistaken.
he's shouting, basically. There you go.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, today I learned. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe we can just link this in. I'm putting it in the notes. We have a list of Mechagon rares in our guide, and we have notes on spawns. So it should tell you how to, do weird things to get the Mechagons to spawn in case someone in chat is curious.
Where did you link it?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, in the notes under the rep part. So, the name you were talking about was the Crazed Trog, and
Crazed Trog, yes, that's it.
3 available
That's
versions.
him.
Use bladders or the spray bots to paint yourself to the color required: orange, blue, or green.
Yes, there you go.
Do you mind if I mention something else?
Yes, I
haven't.
do mind.
You do mind? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm breaking too many rules. I'll wait till later.
Go ahead.
Are you sure? Listen, I don't want to get that nasty email later.
Oh, it's coming anyways.
Kurt told me.
It's coming
Kurt told me
anyways.
before the show. She's like, Brutal, you shut your mouth. Let me talk before everyone else. And I said, yes, ma'am. I won't mention anything without your permission. And apparently I haven't been following the rule today. So nasty emails are coming. No, so something that I noticed, I didn't, I'm sure this has been documented and spoken about, but it's something that I feel is worth mentioning, is in zones like Nazjatar and zones like, Nazmir and so on and so forth, when a supply drop's coming, it actually shows up in your map now. You can see the little helicopter guy, the blimp. So you can see it on the map as it goes across the map. That way, when you have your map open, you run around doing your dailies and stuff, if you see a little circle, little dot with little wings on it, look to the skies, because you can see it, you can track it, and you can see where the drop is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Really
I actually didn't notice that.
I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that because it's happening right now in the game, so it's definitely worth looking for, because in Nazjatar,
You're
need
playing
to
the
loot
game
5
now?
of them. I told you I was before we started.
Uh-oh.
What?
I
No,
told
I
you
never knew.
before we started.
I never knew.
Listen, I'm doing no such thing. No, I'm mentioning if I were playing the game.
Hypothetically,
this could be happening.
Okay,
Yes,
I see.
Absolutely. Nevertheless, it's definitely worth noting, because I'm pretty sure not everyone knows it yet, and it's really helpful. In Nazjatar, you need to loot, if you have war mode on, you want to get the PvP essence level. For rank 2, you have to loot 5 of them in Nazjatar, so look to the skies.
I was joking, by the way. Of course, it's fine to have WoW open in the background.
I'm sweating over here.
In case anyone in the chat didn't catch the sarcasm.
My voice is cracking. I don't know what's going on anymore.
No, it's 100% fine.
All right, I'm good. Reel it in.
All right.
So
what's next up then?
You should do is we sort of touched on this before, but in addition to essences from reputation, there are essences from other sources, and you probably know this, but if you don't, there's not just one rank of an essence. There are higher ranks, and when they're higher ranks, they do more things, but they're from more different sources. So you may not be able to get rank 2 and 3 as fast as rank 1, but you should, put a little bit of time each day to work towards the requirements for the essences you are after. So, for example, pulling up a guide just to give some varied examples here. If you I'm looking at this, and I'm all the ones. Oh yeah, here's an example. So like Well of Existence, rank 1 is Honored, rank 2 is Revered with Rustbolt, rank 3 is Exalted, and rank 4 is from the Paragon reputation. Artifice of Time, a different example, not reputation. Rank 1, you have to win a PvP Island Expedition, Normal, and Epic Battleground. But then with rank 2, you need to complete the Battlefield Brawler achievement, which is to get 15,000 honor from those sources. And rank 3 is 50,000 honor. So just keep chipping away at it, and you will get there eventually.
Time to
Yeah.
start doing your daily
A few
BGs.
expansions from now. Good lord.
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't even know what
3.
rank 4 is. Rank 4 is 100,000 honor, but at least rank 3 to rank 4 doesn't teach you anything new.
Yeah, rank 4 of any of the essences are purely cosmetic, so you don't have to worry too much about rank 4 unless
they
you're...
are?
Yep.
Oh, well, today I learned. That's nice. Thanks
So
for-
rank 3 is what you actually need in terms of its effect. But yeah, 50,000 honor levels sounds like a lot, but if you think about it, it's only around 3 honor levels, isn't it?
That's a lot for someone who doesn't PvP.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I guess.
Also, digression, because this wasn't in the notes, but we should probably show some of these because they're sparkly, and because Brutall was asking about the cosmetic things. I just posted this in the notes. One of the artists on Twitter shared all these really beautiful graphics of what things look like at rank 4, and these weren't
They
on the
look
PTR to
amazing.
test. So this is like our first look at what you get with the legendary cosmetic essence.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do a window capture so I can scroll through multiple of
Life
them.
Finder Invocation
I was
is
gonna
my
take
favorite.
one, but it's better to do
Yeah.
multiple.
Life Finder and Essence of the Focusing Iris, I think, are the best ones. But yeah, they're all very shiny, and if you missed it, going from rank 1 to 2 to 3 makes your major and minor powers stronger, but rank 3 to 4 just makes them look very sparkly. So
Cool. I'm glad you said that because I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
no problem.
I'm
as
sure
we're
you
talking
weren't
about-
alone, so
Yeah,
That's
true,
great.
I'm sure.
Blizzard also clarified because it wasn't clear that if you're like amazing at the game, and if you like a high level Mythic Plus and you unlock rank 3, and then you can get 1 and 2 by default along the way unlocked. So it's like, you killed Heroic Queen Ashara, you got the version from normal unlocked, or because it's special, you can't just get pulled in for a Mythic Ashara kill, get rank 4 and unlock everything else. You have to have rank 3 already unlocked before you can use and unlock rank 4.
yeah,
And
I remember
guess they
that
want to
being a
prevent people
question.
from, selling things, or, like, I'm going to take your alt in for this one Mythic Ashara kill. Oh, grats, you have this. And you have no idea how to play your class. So don't think anyone is at the point where they're unlocking rank 3 and 4 really quite yet, but keep that in mind that you need the rank 3s before you can use the rank 4 and get sparkly effects.
I'm just scrolling through all of them right now.
They're so
They
pretty.
look amazing, yeah.
They are.
These aren't even all of them. He shared maybe half of them.
Oh, really?
But I'm very grateful these were shared.
Yeah.
They look really cool.
Yeah.
And they all have that sort of golden blue glimmer that Azerite has.
Do you guys like that? Because I thought that was cool, but then other people were asking for more like spec specific type things, and how the Azerite didn't really fit their character, but I think the consistency is fine.
I understand their plea, but at the same time, it's an effect from our heart of Azeroth, so I understand why the decision was made that way. But I'd be upset if it were a fell green for Warlocks? No, but I understand why it is the way it is. I think it looks fine. I mean, I think it looks gorgeous, but I think the decision is fine, I guess is what I mean.
Maybe there should be an option to have both in a way, like where you can unlock the spec specific one. Well, it's like a skin color, right? I mean, like not skin color. It's like a tint change, so it shouldn't be too much work. More like choice of colors, because you don't have to redraw anything.
Yeah, I also feel like Legion was all about spec specific class fantasy, and BFA is going in a different direction, so it wouldn't make as much sense. But with Ian talking about class revamps 9.0 and taking more class identity, who knows, maybe we could have more class, if not spec specific, animations or things coming in the future once the BFA narrative moves along.
Well, there you go. That covered all of them that were in the post. That looked really cool. Very nice videos.
So another thing you should do, which we've hinted before, but just reiterating, start collecting artifact power again to level up your Heart of Azeroth. because that is how you unlock essence slots. And you're like, why do I need to unlock essence slots? Well, you can unlock more stamina as you have higher ranks, more essence quests, and the more important thing is 2 minor nodes. So if you're looking at your essence right now and you're like, oh, it does 2 different things, a minor node means that you get the second effect of another essence. Which, can add up to be pretty powerful, especially when you start getting into the rank 3s. So,
definitely.
Get back to those islands and...
Yep, the weekly isles.
Yep.
And I'm sure the Wowhead class guides will let you know exactly which ones you want to use.
They
Regardless of
do,
what you play.
and the constant hot fixes are driving our writers insane because they want to tell you the best possible option, and it changes every day.
Yes. Oh, that's like, you mean the essences?
Yeah.
Yes, I have heard a lot of feedback about that as well. Of course, things are going to be changing. The patch is just getting live, and things change with scaling, with stats, with everything. So there's going to be updates, and just keep the tab open, and
keep hitting that F5 button, baby.
Keep refreshing.
I want to remind people that we're talking a lot about what you can do every day and what's available, but like half of the essences are not available in Season 3. So just keep that in mind, because your best essence might be something from Operation Mechagon, which isn't a thing, or you have to get it from the raid or the rated PvP season or Mythic Plus. So keep that in mind as well. Like if you took a break from the game, you might not know that, Rise of Ashara Season 3, 8.2, all these terms blend together. And yeah, there's a lot more essences in store coming in 2 weeks.
And also in terms of the guides, I wanted to quickly show you guys how it looks like. So you have the 8.2 survival guide, for example, right here. That's how it starts up. And as you scroll down, you will find the table of contents to, go straight to the part that you find the most interesting or the most relevant right now for you. And on top of that, if you scroll up to the top, you will see quick links or shortcuts, I guess you could call them, to the parts of the new patch which interests you the most. And the part where it says Essence Recommendations, that's where you can see every single spec with whatever guide and discussion that is going on for the spec. So it's pretty much on every page when you're scrolling through, so it's very hard to miss, which is a good thing.
Yeah. We also, talking about the new guide layouts we had last week, we made our guide pages prettier and more spacious, so the important information really pops on them, and the pages look a lot cleaner and less cluttered. So if you're using the guides in the past and they seem kind of overwhelming or very text-heavy, it should be much nicer on the eyes and just look better, especially on smaller monitors, because we know a lot of people, use WoW on on like your worst sort of second potato laptop. So we're trying to make the guides look really good on those types of things.
This computer's for playing. This computer's for reading Wowhead.
Yeah, Wowhead gets the shitty computer.
Well, it would be weird if WoW would require the big PC.
Yeah.
That would be alarming.
This is not relevant to anything we're talking about, but I feel it's worth noting that years ago, shifted from being just a database to start including guides and everything. I remember being like, why are they doing this? But nowadays, it's insane how much information is on one website.
Yeah.
To assist people, with new patches and stuff like that. So, listen, I know I'm on the Wowhead show. I know it's easy to compliment the people to make it happen, but for real, like without Wowhead, it's insane thinking about how different this game would be without something like Wowhead. It's crazy. Because years ago, stuff like this didn't exist, and it'd be a very different experience these days.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was interesting when I wanted to do guides and also having a front page, and there was a lot of resistance. And now, yeah.
I remember reading.
Yep. But I mean, the game has changed. Like, so much of the basic stuff you can get in game with the dungeon journal now, or add-ons can highlight a lot of that stuff. So I think it's important to have guides covering, concepts and recommendations or news posts being like, "Hi, this mount is up. Get it now or else."
Yep.
So I think the database does work pretty well for Classic, but yeah, the game has expanded over time. So
A little.
trying to evolve with it.
Just
yeah.
a little, right?
Yeah. So what is next? Oh yeah,
Yes.
bodyguards. Do your bodyguard
yes.
dailies every day to unlock the next stages of the Nazjatar quest line. And it's not just the war campaign, it is also access to the Eternal Palace raid on July 9th.
So this means if you want to raid, you have to do the quest line on all your alts as well?
I am not 100% sure, but I think you have to do it at least one character.
Yes, yeah, for sure one character.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting point though, if you'd have to do it on your alts too. Because like you said, it's daily, so it's not like just do a quest and then you're done with it. It's a little process actually.
What level or rank does each bodyguard go up to? Is it max 15?
I think it's 30 at this point.
Oh my god. Yeah, I logged on yesterday. I was streaming yesterday.
Aqua Team Murder Force reach rank 30, and that is part of the Nazjatar meta Undersea Usurper.
Yeah, I was streaming yesterday, and I'm like, all right, good. One of my guys hit rank 3. Let's move on to the next one. And then my stream's like, hey, Brutal, hate to break it to you, but there's a few more ranks past 3. And I'm like, what?
Just a few more.
Just a few? Good lord.
The abilities, the top ability is at least.
Is at
So-
what, sorry?
They have 5 abilities, and the top one unlocks at rank 15.
Okay.
5?
But you can get them up to 30, and I think there are mounts you get when they are at 30. There are 2 Snapdragon mounts, and we don't know the sources, but they sound very bodyguard-ish.
Okay. Gotcha. So what else can you do daily? Explore Mechagon.
Yes.
Yep.
Which you were just talking about.
Yes.
Yep.
Collecting unique materials, finding all the secrets of the zone, and yeah.
Merl! That's not a Mechagon.
No, but yeah.
Merl!
Merl is also an important one in Nazjatar.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
He
caused a lot of controversy today.
So yeah, Perk, do you want to tell us what actually happened? This this touches the NA region today.
Yeah. So Merl is a special vendor, and it's only visible when you have the benthic cape on, the Ashari Storm Surger cape. And he sells different wares. And it's basically an elaborate trading game where you have to buy, purchase vegetables, and then you trade the vegetables for butter, and then you trade 32 butter for 16 goop, and then you trade the goop for, a cultist pinky finger. So it's all this elaborate stuff. And as part of the game, there is a special item called the Hungry Herald Tentacle Taco. And basically the TLDR is that things were available. We made a post saying that all these things aligned for you to trade them in and get the Crimson Tide Stallion, and then Blizzard rolled it back slowly across all servers, so people were mad and you can't get them out anymore. So
mount was available for a short time. You guys make a guide for it, and then the mount is taken out.
Yeah, and it might have even been bugged from the start because war mode needed to be on for the trading game item to pop up. And then it was hotfixed out, so even war mode on, it does not show up.
Gotcha.
So
how was it supposed to happen? Like, why was it a bug? Why couldn't it just be there?
I don't know if they realized that things were like spawning too quickly, or they wanted to be more of a secret to get it, but yeah, maybe they didn't want it to be so early in the patch. Who knows?
And so the people who happened to get it, they, I guess, would lose it?
I'm not sure if you had it. I don't think you lost it, but I think if you started the trading game, you wouldn't be able to finish it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. It also seemed inconsistent, so maybe they thought it was unfair. Like, it was only showing up on some servers and not others.
Oh, okay.
We need to take a moment to also appreciate the fact that tacos have finally made it to the game.
Oh yeah, so
And
what
it's
is your
part-
obsession with tacos? Like, you've
I'm
always
sorry,
been
excuse me. What is? Who's not obsessed with tacos? That's the better question. I want to know that.
Well, tacos are
Who's
great.
not
Not gonna
obsessed?
lie. Mm-hmm.
No, listen. Everyone has that one food, right? For
Mhm.
me, I love the Mexican food, especially those crunchy, delicious tacos. They're so good. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love a taco? I love a pita.
Tacos are great. They are great.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah,
But do you
I'll take the
want
fish,
the
I'll take the
Hungry
shrimp.
Harold's tentacle taco?
I'll take whatever taco you give me. They're
Tentacle
all
taco.
delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I like calamari. I'll try it. I don't mind. Bring
Oh
it
yeah,
on.
I tried calamari in the US. It was actually very nice.
Thank you. It is. It's
Mhm.
delicious.
It was very nice.
Listen, tacos in chat right now. Shout out to Glow Teddy for the tacos.
Oh,
The tacos. So do you have a Taco Friday or do you have Taco Friday or taco every day rather?
Listen, Annie, I have a taco life. All right, there's a difference.
Okay.
Represent, okay?
Do you eat them on stream?
From time to time, when the mood is right, yes,
Okay. Okay.
I do.
Gotcha.
Listen. I have an affinity toward tacos. We know that. I also consumed 21 tacos in one sitting in less than 20 minutes. So word
were they
gets
like
around.
mini tacos or
21 tacos?
No, they were tacos
gigantic
from.
tacos?
They were tacos. They were Taco Bell tacos. So they're just regular sized tacos. But 21. I'll
Wow.
do it again if I have to. I'll prove myself.
Wow.
Make
Okay.
Prove
balance.
myself.
So how many do you normally eat of those? Because to get the
Well,
size.
All right, listen. If we're going down this road, let's just dig in, okay? I like Taco Bell. Get on my level. Get off my back. If I go to Taco Bell, now I usually get something of I like the Crunchwrap Supremes. I like the crunchy tacos.
Mm-hmm.
The Nachos Bel Grandes.
Okay.
The cheesy gordita crunches. All of these things are delicious. And I'll
Uh-huh.
just get a concoction, a mixture of them. One of
Okay.
these, two of those, whatever the case
So
may
the
be.
thing
But
that you
I could-
ate 21 of, how many do you think I would eat?
3, maybe.
3? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. So now I'm getting
Maybe.
a better image of how much that actually is. Because we don't have Taco Bell. And like tacos aren't like super common here, but I
Yeah.
tend to. Also, we tend to call burritos tacos here because we're
That is
lazy.
Also, like football
Wrong.
and soccer.
What?
Yeah, we tend to do that.
Those are
so-
two very different food items. That's like calling a hot dog a burger and a burger a hot dog. It's not the same thing at all.
I mean, it's almost. Well, it's just the bread is just different, right?
But okay, back it
Whoa,
up. Okay,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no. You put different
Hold
names
on.
on both.
Relax. Okay.
Okay.
Deep breaths. You can the
Mhm.
proteins usually the same. Your beef, your chicken, whatever. But then like burritos typically have beans in them. Not all tacos have beans.
That's true. That's true.
Toppings can be quite different. They can be the same, but they're
Yes.
usually a bit different. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I
They
need you to
can be
relax,
different. They can be the same. Gotcha.
Stop being so presumptuous, please.
Okay. Taco
Good.
schooling on Wowhead Weekly. All right. Kitsukis is back on track. Let's get back
All
on
right,
She
track.
doesn't.
Back
She
to
doesn't own
Mechagon.
me.
Yes, we're talking about
And why-
Mechagon. Mm-hmm.
So, there are 2 achievements for Mechagon and Nazjatar that you should work towards. And you won't be able to do them in a day. And you want to get these meta achievements done because you get cool mounts at the end. And the Mechagon one to do all these different things in the zone rewards you with a Keys to the Model W, which is a fun-looking wheel mount.
Mm-hmm.
And the equivalent Nazjatar one is the Of the Deeps title, and the Snapback's Cutler, which is the crab that moves sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so
So,
cool. I just
That
want
is
to
really
say
cool.
It's
Yes.
amazing.
It is
Yeah,
amazing.
you have to do all these different things. Like
Mhm.
you need to kill all the rares and
Mhm.
get all the blueprints,
Mhm.
and then do specific things with the different
Mm-hmm.
Azeroth minis, and
Mm-hmm.
get all the colors for the Mechano Cat with the with the paint buckets, and hit Exalted and get honor points, like all sorts of different things that you need to start now if you want to get that done.
Yeah.
There was a bigger bag achievement that was removed from the
Really?
meta, so you won't have to
Oh, from the
be
meta,
killing
okay.
yourself doing that.
Mhm.
But yeah.
So it's still in the game.
So-
It's just not in the meta.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Also, the rares have daily resets, so it's a good idea to go kill them, even if you don't kill a lot of them, and then just come back again the next day and even repeat the same ones for the materials and other things that you can get from the zone. Since I was spending a lot of hours on these rares yesterday, I actually managed to get the mats to craft the mount from the junkyard area. So it is doable in one day with just killing rares. And there's that one epic item that costs 35,000 gold, which is also a drop from these rares. So don't spend gold and just go out and kill rares.
Yeah.
Wise words.
Another thing that you want to be doing on a daily basis is to level up your professions to 175 and unlock new recipes. So professions at the start of BFA were kind of and then in 815 they were trying to add things like the tool of the trade things, and then in 8.2 I think they've tried to shape professions up a bit by revamping all the materials, giving you more powerful things, and even some fun items for a few professions like inscription glyphs for water elementals, and then some professions can even craft the mount equipment. So there's a fair bit more. It's not just like, oh, look, crafted raid gear, how exciting. Yeah. There's even some potions with creative procs that don't have 8.0, like the potion of focus resolved. Your damaging abilities mark the target, and then increasing your chance to critically strike goes up to 20%. And then if you damage something else, it resets your focus. So there's a lot of fun things with professions in this patch, and crafted gear will work differently as well. We'll probably cover that in the season 3 show, but there's no new dungeon and raid materials you need to craft. It's a different type of stuff. But yeah, you want to be doing professions, getting your better gems, your better flasks, your better enchants, your better food. Stockpiling that now so you are set for the Ashara raid.
Yep. Or find new
Exciting
mats and
times.
sell them because a lot of people will buy them.
Yeah, make some gold.
Whichever side you prefer. Also, somebody asked what epic item. So the epic item that I was talking about, you needed 4 of them to craft the mount. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a specific BOP item that you use for crafting here in Mechagon. If anyone remembers the name.
I'm so glad you asked, because I'm sure it's in the Wowhead Mechagon guide.
Yes.
Is it the chain igniter roller, the galvanic oscillator?
The chain igniter.
The
royal,
chain, yes.
Igniter coil?
That's the one.
Coil?
Igniter coil. Yes, that's the one.
Chain igniter coil.
That's the one. There you go.
Used in the most powerful of engines.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, costs 35,000 by Cork Stuttgart. But it can drop from rares.
Yes.
It can be found
rares.
in the mechanized chests.
Yes.
And it can be a reward from a very few missions. And
yeah, some quests, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a pet battle one that also gave one. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Thinking Wiggletail. Don't talk to me about pet battles.
Yeah, one of the Wowhead
Thinking
comments says, I
Wiggletail.
got one from defeating Creek Clank in a pet battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
So, yeah, don't spend money on that. Go explore Mecha instead. And another thing, this might be good if you've taken a break from the game, is to get back to working Battle for Azeroth war campaign, because you will need that in order to unlock Tauren Heritage Armor, and as we'll get to a little bit later on in the show, the war campaign is just cool, and there is a special cinematic at the end of it that you would need to.
This is true. I saw it. Yes, I saw it yesterday. I didn't know that it was in the game. I didn't know that it existed, so it took me completely by surprise. It was pretty cool just to stumble upon that as I was doing the quest chain.
That's something that has been pretty cool in general with BFA. A lot of cinematics have been put in the game.
Oh, they've been so good.
The cinematics have been top notch. Like, it'd be really cool if there was a movie theater and they just played all of these
back to back.
Yeah. You would have a movie at this point.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so I think we should quickly recap like what are the big early things in the patch, and then contrast that by what are the sort of hidden gems in the patch or details you think people might not know about. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's just recap the major stuff quickly that we have guides for.
Yeah.
So
We
we
have
have the
the 2
Nazjatar
zones.
guide.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. New zones.
We have the new zones. Nazjatar zone to start with. Doing a few quest lines there unlocks the second big zone, Mechagon. And of course, there's guides of this on Wowhead. And another big thing which is introduced with 8.2 is the essence system for your Heart of Azeroth. What else do we have? We have the War Campaign, of course, the continuation of War Campaign, and the professions.
Yep.
As well.
And flying. And
flying.
Yeah, and we might as well mention what is big that you cannot do now. Big things that are in the patch, but Season 3 not launch patch, are the Eternal Palace raid, the Mythic plus Affix Beguiling, the Operation Mechagon dungeon, the Abyssal Focus crafting system for the best gear, and lots of the essences like Vision of Perfection, because that's from the dungeon. So
two more things spring to mind. The item level increase hasn't hit the game yet, because that comes with Mechagon and Eternal Palace, if I'm not mistaken. And shout out to Rad in chat. Transmog changes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes.
More limitations.
Put your
being
hands
removed.
together.
Yes, I think the only
you can
slot
run around
that you
mostly
cannot...
naked now.
Yes, the only slot that you can no longer hide, I believe, are legs. Is that true?
Exactly. Yeah.
So everything else can be hidden. I'm actually surprised chest can be hidden. I thought that would be the second slot which would not be hidden, but yeah, it looks like the only things you have to wear is a chest and legs.
The thing that with chest, that the whole announcement on thing of restrictions came about because of a question about chess. People were saying, I've got all these awesome tattoos
with allied races, yeah,
like a light forged Draenei, or a demon hunter, or a Magheart orc, and no one can see them with my armor. And then Blizzard was like, oh yeah, we're gonna make chests hideable, and like everything else too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be weird if you can hide your chest, but not your shoulders or your hands, and yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. So, also, another thing to keep in mind is that you can still get ahead of the curve and cutting edge.
Yes.
Now. And Hall of Fame for the Alliance is still open.
Is it really?
Yes.
Now, see, this is why earlier in the show, Horde is the way to go, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to be messing around with this Alliance stuff. They're years behind. Look at this. Unbelievable.
Like literally months behind.
Oh my goodness.
That's because you got the best traits, so everyone goes Horde.
Oh my goodness.
Well, technically, it's canon that Horde clears the raid first, because
or better, I agree. I completely agree.
When the Horde do the Zalatath questline, they pick up the dagger and give it to Sylvanas, but when the Alliance do the questline, they're like, oh no, the Horde already took the dagger. We're slow.
Oh,
we
yes.
went first. It is the way it is.
That makes sense. This was all because of lore.
So...
Listen, don't bring Josh Allen into this, all right? He's got enough on his plate. Jeez. Let the man work, please.
So, if we look at, I know, so whether Hall of Fame is full or not is going to close when season 3 comes out, but Blizzard hinted that they thought that the essences would serve as like a nerf to the encounter, but I only see 17 Alliance guilds in the Hall of Fame.
Wait, 17?
No, there have to be more. There has to be
17, yeah. I'm reading it to you right now.
We need a fact check here, people. Can we get some confirmation in chat, please?
Yeah,
There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Alliance is bad, but they can't be that bad, please.
That's actually pretty awful.
Yeah.
Jeez.
When I last checked, when Horde Hall of Fame closed, like, I don't know, like a week or two ago, it was at 12 guilds. So yeah, we got 5 guilds instead.
Nice. Progress.
No way.
Progress. Oh no, the poor alliance.
Oh boy. Listen, they did it to themselves. They had every
No.
opportunity to choose Orchid character selection. I feel no pity for them.
They made the right choice.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a good discussion later in the show when we get to discussing the War Campaign cinematic faction changing hint.
Actually, I have plenty to say about that. I really do. In all fairness.
Good. But yeah, so things that people. What are things we think people don't know about the patch? So, one thing that I just want to highlight was that the little baby dire horn. Oh yeah, this is like horde favoritism again. The little baby dire horn. From
I'm not
Silver
surprised.
Zone. Yeah, the little baby dire horn has a quest, and you can do the quest series, and it becomes the child of Torcali Mount. And Kuafan also has a quest to go from a ground mount to a flying mount. So I think that's a cute detail, even though it's, you have to be horde to actually do the quest.
It's okay. We get the B mount.
Really?
Okay.
Well, because it's like I think both sides can use them, but the horde it's the quest for the horde. But Alliance apparently has a secret B mount, and the B is cool, but I don't think no one knows how to get it yet.
No, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Another small thing that can be good for reputation grinding.
I referenced earlier the drop ship thing in the with war mode on. That's something a lot of people probably didn't know about. I'll try to think of something else. Give me a moment.
The drop. Oh yeah, that's
so. As you're thinking, I'll go through what I thought. Legendary pet battles are great for reputation.
Yes.
I know when sometimes people hear pet battles, they're like, oh, like battle pets are for collectors, but they're very good for reputation.
Yes, and so if you want to get your reputation fast.
It's funny, we made a post highlighting it, and people were like, oh, battle pets, and they sort of skipped it, and then we were like, get reputation quickly with this stuff. And
I just realized I've been muted to you guys.
Oh, hi, welcome back.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I just realized now, I'm not sure for how long. But I just
professional stream, boys. Professional stream. Here we go. The amount of times I leave my mic muted in my stream, it's embarrassing. Please, it's okay.
Oh my god.
I
have no idea when that happened.
5 minutes ago. It's been about 5 minutes, I'd say.
Has it? You haven't heard me for like 5 minutes?
No. Been about 5 minutes.
Wait, so Perk, you didn't hear me say the B mount?
No, I did not.
You just mentioned B mount by yourself?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was so all her. Weird. Okay.
Poor Perk was floundering. She has me just running my mouth about Alliance. She's treading water over here, choking. Oh, Annie, you left her high and dry.
Oh my.
Oh my goodness. I feel so bad for Perk.
You guys have to rewatch the show, just this part. I was so confused.
Like I was telling like, oh, the Alliance is all these great things, and people, I'm just like, yeah, like, why does the horde get these 2 mounts?
Wait, well, when you mentioned the 2 mounts, I was like, it's okay, we get the B mount, and then like a minute or 10 seconds later, you mentioned the B mount. Oh my god. Yes.
Great minds.
And then I was gonna talk about the reputation thing, and then you did 10 seconds later, as if it's a new
God,
topic.
so like we're in sync.
Yeah, it was actually almost perfect, but I was a little bit unsure, so I checked if I was muted, and I was. I don't know how I managed to mute myself. I mean, I have a bind for muting, but it's on my keyboard. I'm not typing on the keyboard, so I don't know. Anyways.
I blame the cat.
Yes, it was. Wait, no, that would imply it's been a long time though. Because she hasn't been here in a while.
Maybe she was a stealthy ninja and did it very quick.
I don't know. Anyways, yes, let's get back to what we were saying. You were mentioning the legendary pet battles that you can do to gain reputation, which is very, very useful, even for people who don't enjoy pet battles that much. What else do we have? Fabius. Take a selfie. Take a selfie.
Oh, the mount. The mount, right?
Yeah.
I haven't done it myself, but I know of it. But I would like to be educated, so feel free to do so.
So Fabius sounds like the guy from the romance novel covers, and which the description is very much like cheesy romance novel too. And when you see Fabius, you need to take a selfie with him to get the mount.
Yeah.
because he's such like a gorgeous like unicorn seahorse with glowing fur horse mane, and you take the selfie and you get the mount that way.
I have a question. Is it killable?
No.
Okay. Because I saw it as a...
People were trying to like kill him on the PTR and they weren't getting anywhere, so that's when people started to suspect they had to do something unique to get it.
Okay, because I saw it and he had 40,000 HP and I thought that's not a lot, and we were summoning people in to get the mount as well, and I was amazed that people let it stay alive, and I wasn't sure if it's possible to hit it or not, and I didn't dare do it, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, we had somebody tanking it as well. Oh, so it doesn't despawn. That's the reason. Okay. Yeah, somebody was tanking it in the group as well. This was before I actually logged in to play. I was just messaged to log in quick to get summoned for the mount, and I was in the middle of preparing to start streaming, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to prep for stream, but sure, just summon me to whatever you're talking about. So I was a little bit confused, but it was great.
Yeah. Another thing is that there are items that curse you. And if you're like, why am I suddenly shitty? If you have a skeletal hand, blind eye, or encrusted coin, that is what's causing it, and you can turn them in for 600 gold.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they actually just hotfixed that today too, so that another player's ground effect, is no longer visible, which is nice because that was aggravating when I thought I was standing in goop and it wasn't me.
Oh, good to know. Apparently, we also have Pepe.
Yeah, there is a new Pepe. It's a little clockwork Pepe, and he's so cute. He's a robot, and then periodically he becomes an evil Pepe, and his goggles turn into red lasers, and the gear on his chest goes from blue to red.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So he's somewhere. I don't know where he is, but something to keep an eye out on. What else was there? Like, are there any other things that you think people should know that maybe they were unaware of, or like a little charming part of? Oh, this was another thing I wanted to highlight. There's a fun achievement where you have to collect cat statues. And the achievement has a funny name implying that someone gave Ashara a cat statue once and she didn't reject it, so she kept getting all these cat statues even though she doesn't like cats. So then all scattered around Nazjatar caves are these little cat statues.
That's amazing.
Which I thought you would appreciate, Annie, as we both have cats.
Cats are awesome. Well, unless they want to bite.
I mean, they're not as awesome as dogs, but a lion's
cats
horde,
are more amazing.
My cat is for the Alliance. So.
Yes, my cat is for the Alliance too.
I have a picture of him with turning his back and tail on a horde pillow and clutching at the Alliance.
It was awesome. I remember that.
Another little thing I want to highlight is, as you get farther in the zone, you can unlock a special quest with Thalersa and Chandris, and they sort of confront the ghosts in their past, and you actually get to explore the area seen in Warbringer's Ashara, and you can trigger the cinematic in one part too. So I think that's cool how it really dramatizes that moment, and you're now seeing it from the point of view of the civilians as opposed to the video, which was from the point of view of Ashara and her kind of perspective.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting how to unlock the flight whistle in Nazjatar, because it's not innately unlocked when you start in the zone.
That is true.
The problem is I don't remember how I did it. I did a bunch of quests,
and then it was unlocked.
I think it was the northeast corner. There's a quest, right?
Yeah. But I'm not sure what it requires to unlock those quests, if there is anything, or if you can just walk there. I'm not sure.
Right. But for anyone who can't flight whistle in Nazjatar, you can get it working when you get to that point, whenever that may be. Herc, feel free to dig us out of this hole. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Just start heading towards the northeast, and there should be a quest line there, which will unlock it for you. Another interesting one was the jellyfish jumping world quest.
Oh goodness! I did that before it was hotfixed.
It got nerfed though, at least.
Wait, it did?
That's right. I did it before it got nerfed. So good job.
When was it nerfed? I want to know if I did it before or after.
Like 5 hours after the servers went up.
It was noticed. There were hot fixes posted 3 hours ago, so probably before that.
3 hours ago.
But the hotfix said Queen Ashara is amused by adventurers' efforts facing her prized jellyfish during jumping jellies, and has graciously cast a taming ward, making them easier to traverse.
Okay.
It was fixed as of yesterday because I had viewers who did it before the fix and viewers who came in afterwards saying, "This is the easiest thing in the world. What's the big deal?" It was a big deal, right? It was really difficult. It was a very big deal. So, yes.
Okay.
It was thankfully because it was ridiculous.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to seaweed. We did this article on Wowhead that was highlighting things that were popular every day, and sticky seaweed is a special needed for a special quest. It can only be found in the Spears of Ashara section of Nazjatar. So yeah, that's like our top traffic page whenever that quest is.
Okay.
That's southwest corner of Nazjatar, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so we're trying to do like a series of articles, like I just mentioned. We did one yesterday, but we want to keep them up each day because there's so many little parts of the patch that we think people should know about and try out, so they're not just grinding artifact power.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think this directly ties back into what we were talking about a little while ago. A new patch, new zones, more things to chase and grind and pursue. There's definitely such a thing as overkill in that regard, but I feel like so far with patch 8.2, it's been really enjoyable. Like Nazjatar specifically is, I don't know, for me, Nazjatar feels like such a unique zone. There's a lot of depth and layers, and it's broad and expansive, and a lot of different, fauna and flora and whatnot. It's beautiful.
I felt really immersed as well.
Yeah, it's
Nazjatar. I was
so
playing with sound
so
on
nice.
and music and everything. It was really nice.
It's so nice how we've been hearing about it for so long, and Ashara's
10,000 years about.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, we've been hearing about it for a while.
Yeah, and I think it's cool seeing the ruins of the Night Elf Empire because like that action really shaped their society and it went in a totally different direction, and it's cool seeing the sort of grandiose how it used to be, especially as we've learned more about that culture with Suramar and Legion. So I think it looks I like it. It's very soothing. I like all the waterfall coloration.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on being able to fly through it in a few weeks? Do you think that's going to add anything, take anything away from it? I'm curious what you guys think.
I'm okay with it, honestly. Also, as we've been finding little hints that there's stuff you can see when you can only fly.
Oh.
So it adds another layer of exploration to it. So I'm okay with it. I think that there's still so much stuff to do in the zone that flying, make the zone be an instant pushover. Like you still have to camp a lot of things, or do a lot of mini games and puzzles, or beat a lot of legendary battle pets. So I'm okay with it.
I love flying.
Good. That's the right answer, by the way. Flying is the right answer. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I think flying is great.
It is the only acceptable answer. That's right.
Oh, speaking of flying, that reminded me as another little thing that people should probably know about. There is an item where you can take your underwater mounts and make them usable in Nazjatar, and they cost 5 mana pearls each.
And how long do they last? Is it like an hour? Or is it?
It is. I think they're not permanent buffs. So if you leave the zone, I believe it goes away. But if you just stick yourself, oh my god, I just have to laugh. So they're 5 mana pearls, right? That's not a big deal. I'm looking at quick facts and see what the average price is on the auction house, and they're over 100,000 gold.
Oh.
So I feel like people really do not know about this item. for that much money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, if you really want it, 100,000 gold. There you go.
Yeah.
Then
Or
you
you
don't
can
have to
just,
spend your primals. Oh, wait, what are they called?
The prismatic mana pearls.
Prismatic mana pearl. Okay. I almost thought it's primal mana. I was like, wait, no, that's
Close
wrong.
enough. That's close. No big deal.
But yeah, is there anything else? Anything else which is a small detail which is useful for people to know? I feel like we may have covered everything that I can
Maybe
think of.
chat is some things they want to share with us that they found genuinely useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Katsu brought up there were 3 things you can collect in Mechagon that you can combine and turn into bot for extra parts.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what that means, but okay.
I'm sure that's in the Mechagon guide as well.
Yeah. Let me
I still think it's
What was
amazing
that
you can
again? I'm
fly
scrolling
around.
through the Mechagon guide
There
now.
are 3 items you can collect in Mechagon that you can combine and turn into a bot for extra parts. I think she's making that up. that can't possibly be
it sounds
real.
realistic. It's like, oh yeah, like there are parts in Mechagon and the parts make like a bigger part.
That sounds like something Ketsu would do.
Oh, I want to highlight that you want to do the dailies in Mechagon each day because they can unlock different pets and rares. And when Geppetto Joybuzz is the visitor, he has the daily quest Toys Like Us, and you can get the starter pack of these Mechagon themed Azeroth minis, and you can collect them and put them on a pedestal, and they even fight each other. And once you get the starter pack, you can then collect the VIP figures, and you can find them all around Mechagon, like the Mechanized chest, some rares and dungeon bosses, and then that's needed for the most minis wins achievement. So there are all sorts of things, like Azeroth mini of Saffronetta, who, the really cool gnome from Before the Storm, Azeroth mini of the Prince from Mechagon, then there's King Mechagon, Overspark, Gazlo, lots of cool characters, and yeah, it kind of sounds like Funko Pops.
Funko Pops, cool.
It's
yeah, collecting these little, figurines
Yeah.
of famous things.
That sounds sweet.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've found a few myself. I didn't know what to do with them, but I just clicked them. They disappeared from my bags. That's all I know. They're gone. How do you open that again? What is that called?
When Geppetto Joybuzz is the visitor, he has a daily quest called Toys Like Us.
Okay.
Gotcha, okay.
Mm-hmm. So definitely worth doing those dailies then, to make sure you don't miss them.
Yeah, there's also another really cool daily when Chromie is there, and it's like alternate universe Mechagon where everyone is like
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Apparently,
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Mentioned in chat, the AV commanders, which were removed in TBC, are back in the game, making AV games harder and longer like they were in Classic. Do you know anything about this perk?
Oh, interesting. Well, I didn't know about that part specifically, but I did know that some of the AV teleport items were now classified as toys.
As toys,
which
yes.
I found
That's
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I noticed that too.
Actually, looking at the Mechagon guide, I need to edit something quickly on it. One second.
Don't worry, we can kill time for you.
Yeah, some of the daily quests were only seen on the PTR and not live servers. So when we swapped the guide over to the live version of Wowhead, it's like, oh, look at all these missing quest links, and I'm like, oh, that looks ugly. I gotta fix this.
yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, it's now fixed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Live fixing of Wowhead guides.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. She's always on the job.
Because I was like, oh, I'll tell you about this quest with Chromie named, quest is like 523. That's not helpful. No quest error on server.
Yeah, I think we can maybe move on and check out some of the recent cinematics. What do you think?
Oh.
I like that.
We can start off with the Ashara cinematic and play it on stream, as usual. And then we can talk about it straight after. So let's do that.
I like that idea.
Let me get the cinematic up.
And don't forget to unmute us after the cinematic.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we need a mute check afterwards.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep on them! We cannot let them escape!
My queen, they have arrived.
Wonderful. Set the tide stone, won't you? Feeling anxious, are we? How frustrating it must be for you. Still locked away. So powerless. For now, do not worry. We've both waited so long. But at last, you're about to see what I do best.
She's not responding! Set the sails! Set the sails! We can't escape!
Welcome to Nazjatar. I've been waiting for you.
There. Remembered to unmute, I think.
Yeah, we're back.
Yay.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. Okay, we're back. Awesome. So, who wants to start off with the comments?
I just want to make one quick. It's a miracle they survived that. I think that's just incredible. None of them are rogues. That safe fall does not exist for Gin or anyone. So that's amazing. I just wanted to
Maybe
put that out there.
Jaina, like, slow-falled them all.
Is Jaina even there? I don't know that, to be honest with you.
She was, and everyone is like, why didn't Jaina just, stop the tidal wave? She stopped every other bad thing from happening.
Oh, that's actually such a good point. Why didn't she stop it?
Yeah. So my throwaway comment is that I think Queen Ashara has really cool eye makeup.
Oh.
Her eyeshadow is very well
True.
Oh, wow. We need to ask her makeup artist where she got that.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. No, but Ashara does look amazing, though. She really does.
So I have a question, and I'm being serious. I don't know. I'm confused. Like, how did that whole thing take place? Like, when I turned in the quest, I was at the docks. Like, what transpired? What pushed the horde, and then how did the Alliance catch up with the horde? Like, what actually happened?
So it's still kind of a mystery, but I think reading between the lines, we pick up the Blade of the Black Empire and give it to Sylvanas. And then Sylvanas also is working with Lady Ashvane. She frees Lady Ashvane, who is then revealed to be in league with Ashara. And I think between the Blade and Ashvane, she has this idea to go to Nazjatar, and that's why we see Nathanos holding the blade in front of him as it's almost like pulling them.
Gotcha.
So Sylvanas has the idea that, they need to go to Nazjatar as part of her big master plan, and there will be casualties on both sides, but whatever. And it's also a convenient way to, smash up most of the Alliance fleet that, currently has the advantage.
Gotcha.
And
Horde for the win.
yeah, so then she keeps it secret from the rest of the horde. You just have like a few bits of dialogue where Nathanos is like, oh, your loyalty has a greater test. There is some cut dialogue where Sylvanas was. This is interesting. There was PTR dialogue that was cut that says, "Sail out with what remains of the fleet. The blade will guide you to the rendezvous. Casualties on both sides will be substantial. Consider this an opportunity to weed out the disloyal. The threads we have woven with such care will soon be drawn together. The war is serving its purpose. Stay focused on the end game. You know what is to come."
And this is Sylvanas, right?
Yes, that was cut. That was on the PTR, and then it's either been cut or hidden somewhere, but I think that the motivation is still the same. You know, like she's saying, "Oh, the blade will guide you," and then, "Oh, look, in the cinematic, the blade is guiding us." So
yeah,
she's got some bigger plan going on here, and she wanted us to go to Nazjatar and then get shipwrecked.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that Nathanos was aware of this, but say Lorthamar wasn't, because the look on his face is kind of the the story that I'm piecing together.
Yeah, like
Gotcha,
Lorthamar and Jaina and Gennin, all them, they're all like, they're like, "Oh no, like what's going on?" And then they think they're being all clever, working together after the war campaign. You know, "Oh, we're gonna forge peace," but you know, in reality, it's just like, I don't know, part of this master plan to, I don't know, get us all into one bad place and then do something for us. I am really confused, or I guess intrigued, how like Sylvanas has this big master plan all set up, because it's not just she lured everyone, Horde and Alliance, to get shipwrecked, but it's also part of her plan to have us escape the war campaign. Like, she faked that whole thing, like the whole confrontation. So, I don't know, she's playing some, like, 10-dimensional chess right now. Yeah.
What is Sylvanas' big end game? Is the question.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm curious about is, how did Ashara get the Tidestone? Like, that seems, we discussed this a few weeks ago, it's like that was bad news. You weren't meant to remove that from the tomb. Like, we did not remove them to deal with Sargeras' corruption.
Because it was so important.
Yeah. And now one of them is gone and missing.
And I think Ashara says a line about it. She just says that they left it unguarded, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did we leave it unguarded
I love
when it was so important?
Cool. Like, she keeps trying to steal it back from us in Legion, and when she finally uses it, she's like, she just tells someone else to place it as she's admiring herself in the So,
like, you place the Tidestone, I need to look at myself in the mirror, you know, need to make sure the makeup looks great.
Yeah. I love how she just, like, plays all these mind games. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, Ashara, you must like power, like, we know what you want," and she's like deliberately trying to, you know, toy with people and mess with their heads and be like, "Oh, like, you know, yeah, I wanted the Tidestone for years, but now that I have, like, I just to play it cool, like, you know." I just like how she is like almost playfully messing with our heads. But yeah, it's really bad news that the Tidestone has been taken, and especially if we think about other pillars that could be stolen.
Yep.
Like, we went through all of Legion learning why they were so important, and then they could fall into the wrong hands again, and that sounds bad.
Yep.
You know, both for what this means for harmful things in the tomb being open, but just, you know, like, "Oh, we could reshape the earth with this one." That doesn't sound ominous.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. But Ajara wants us there for our Heart of Azeroth, is that correct? Like, is she planning on using that?
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's why she doesn't kill us. She wants us to, she wants to lure us in. Yeah. So.
Gotcha. Listen, someone from my chat told me that yesterday. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Someone filled me in. I was clueless. I just think I got to put that out there.
Yeah. Another, going back to the makeup, a detail that's not as, you know, it's like, "Oh my god, the stolen Tidestone," but something I really liked in the analysis I wrote up was how you don't really see Ashara full on with her face and body until a minute into the cinematic, which is interesting, as she's, you know, the major character. And everyone else is just sort of, you see them there, but with her, you just basically see her reflection, and she looks prettier in her reflection. Like, it's very pinky, it's very diffused, and then when you finally see her, she looks like very angry. You know, like she's taken off the mask. She's not putting on an act. And then she sort of starts taunting N'Zoth, which I find really funny.
Yeah, that part was really funny. I really liked it.
Yeah. And I think it shows how much she's gained confidence since Warbringers, where in Warbringers she looked very, you know, tentative and, you know, reaching out like one hand towards the fish. But here it's like she's in charge, you know, she's up on the pedestal, he's the smoke below, she's reaching out her hand and the smoke is billowing around her. So I don't know, they have a really interesting dynamic. Do you think that they're working together or not working together? Because I remember with Crucible, we were really pushing this idea that they were on like opposing sides. And that, you know, N'Zoth was trying to maybe trick Ashara or didn't need her anymore. And they were, you know, just like working together with convenience, but didn't like each other. And then it's like, oh, 8.2, you know, Ashara's helping N'Zoth. But then with the cinematic, I'm like, no, maybe they don't like each other again. Maybe they're like just grappling for power.
I think they both think that they're playing each other. And then the question is, who played the other one harder? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way I'm looking at it is, you know, N'Zoth needs Ajara and her companions to do his bidding, right? To set him free, to put the plan in motion. And Ajara needed N'Zoth 10,000 years ago to ensure their survival and whatnot. So it's very much a, you know, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. But at what point in time will that allegiance break? At what point in time will someone try to outmaneuver, outthink? I mean, they're probably both 15, you know, spaces ahead or 50 moves ahead in their chess game, but it's interesting to see the dynamic of the relationship.
Definitely.
They need one another right now. There's no getting around that, because with Queen Ajara, without him, they're dead. Him without her, he's trapped. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, if her goal is to free N'Zoth, what happens when he's free? Like, he doesn't have any more of a need for her. And that also makes us go back to Sylvanas. Is she working with them, or is she trying to use them?
I would say the latter.
Yeah. Like, is she trying to take advantage and be like, oh, you know, like, I'll let, you know, this unstable magic and old gods break free, and then I'll, you know, maybe trap them in the dagger, or try to harness, you know, the power of the old gods to serve my bidding and my own plan for undeath.
I would say so. I can't imagine Sylvanas being the kind of individual to willingly, you know, fall in line and make these allegiances without wanting to. I mean, they all want power, right? They all want to be the man with the plan, so to speak. So I think it's about to go down is what it boils down to.
Yeah. Especially with the hints that Sylvanas will learn more about her endgame soon. And there's this theory that, you know, each patch will focus on a Warbringer, and we've had Jaina in 8.1 and then Ashara in 8.2, which would leave Sylvanas for 8.3. So, seeing if there's anything else in this cinematic. Oh yeah, this was the fun thing. I like at the end how Ashara was talking about what she does best, and it's funny because she doesn't answer that, and I know that she thinks she does everything best, but what is she actually referring to here? I think that she's referring to how she can manipulate subjects, because, you know, like, that's what she did as the leader of the you know, Night Elves. She was always, everyone loved her even though she couldn't stand them, and she just wanted to eradicate them to make, you know, things perfect. And in Battle for Azeroth, we've seen her manipulating and then throwing away lots of characters. Like, you know, Zool, oh, look at this rebellion, and then, you know, he got deposed. Or Lady Ashvane thought that she would get power, and then she was turned into this ugly sea giant.
Hey,
so she makes
beauty's in the eye of the beholder, all right?
Of course,
Come on.
yes, that's true. That's true, Perk.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like she, and then even with us, you know, she keeps taunting us as we go through Nazjatar, and that fun. Just like makes us work. I think that sort of blinds us to her ulterior motives, and it makes us closer. So we're like, oh yeah, she's, you know, we're so mad at Ashara, we're gonna, you know, break into her palace, and then, She's like, "Oh, that's awesome. I was expecting you." And then she makes fun of us, and we're like, "Oh, we're gonna get you." And it's like, no, she wants that. Like, just take a step back and think.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's very Lich King-esque in that regard, right? The Lich King goaded us, haunted us. Oh, champions! And there we are, playing right into his hand at the very end of ICC. And by the light, thank God the light was there to save the day. But there are some similarities in some way, I'm sure. Because Queen Najara thinks she's got us wrapped around her little finger, right?
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and she kind of does.
Yeah.
She's got a plan.
We are where she wants us to be.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anything else stand out from the cinematic, or should we move into the other one, which again sort of ties in with Sylvanas, but has a very different tone. Like, this cinematic has a bunch of new characters, and it's ominous, and it's showing how all these like weird allegiances and backstabbing, while the other one has a more kind of hopeful, naive note of unity. So let's watch the other one.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you. Bane would have died without your aid.
I couldn't let that happen.
Nor could I. I refuse to fail him. Like I failed his father. I wish I could change it all. Karen. Garrosh. Theramore. Sometimes it feels like I did everything wrong.
We all have blood on our hands.
And now, Sylvanas will come. Thunder Bluff will burn. Just like Teldrassil.
Once before, you and I stood side by side on the slopes of Mount Hyjal. That world tree did not fall, because the Horde and the Alliance worked together.
Horde. Alliance. We've come to this crossroad again and again, Jaina. It always falls apart. What's different this time?
We are. I should go. Anduin will want to know that Bane is safe.
Tell your king he is not alone.
Yeah, there it is. There it
Right.
is. Lots of relationship, lots of that question. What's different now? We are.
Right.
There's a
So
lot-
we can
a lot to say.
yeah, I feel like we can talk about Jaina and Thrall being friends and like their parallels with their failures, but I think we should first jump into the other topic, like what's up with the factions? What does that
Yes.
mean? So
Yes.
jump into it, Brutall. What are your thoughts?
So this is something that I've been saying. I've been playing WoW since 2005. I've been in the game for years and years and years. And 2004. Sorry, this is going to be a tangent. I apologize in advance. 2004, when the game launched, was a very different time for computer gaming and MMOs and whatnot. And heck, when the game was being created years before that, 2001, 2002. 2019, the game's in a different state. People are in a different state in their lives, and so on and so forth. I think it makes sense from an in-game and an out-of-game scenario to kind of break down those barriers a little bit. I've been saying for years, I would love to see more interaction between Horde player, and I know I made jokes earlier about Alliance and Horde, but in all seriousness,
It was just
I would
leading up to this.
It was. I would love to see some kind of cooperation. Like, hey, you know what? It's 2019. sub numbers or whatever they are. Players have been playing as Horde and or Alliance for X years. The next expansion, this huge enemies coming, the Void, the whatever. Horde and Alliance have to come together. Legion was what it was. BFA was what it was. We saw what happened when we were fighting and infighting and whatnot. It's time to kind of, take a shift, take a different stand. And I would love to see something like that because that would really open a lot of doors and it really allow players to see things differently, experience things differently, interact differently. And again, I could be completely wrong. I could be completely stupid in my line of thinking, but I would love to see something like that. And I think it's been a long time coming. We saw cooperation at the beginning of Legion for that scenario, if I'm not mistaken. Did that even hit live servers? I don't think it did.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we were
in any case,
we were in the
Sylvanas
same story,
and
right?
Varian
Yeah.
were working together.
Yeah, they were.
I think that it makes sense because, you see the game 2019, 2020, and what's to come is very different now than it was back then. For better or for worse, whatever your opinion is, let it be what it is. But the game's very different. The way we play MMOs, the time that we spend in it, what we do in the game is so different today than it was 15 years ago. I know for myself, I would love to have more people to pull into Mythic Plus groups, to have a deeper pool to jump into raiding with. That's how
I think that you raise a very good point with the practical side of things, which we touched upon with the Crucible of Storms jokes. I mean, we've got 100 guilds versus 17 guilds.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's more and more problems caused by the competitive nature of things, or the example that, it's so much easier to find a Horde guild, so you have to go Horde to get your raid gear. But then if you want Mythic Plus, you need to swap back to the Alliance, so everyone has Shadow Meld. And it seems to be causing a lot of odd, just not good for finding people and furthering a divide in sort of strange ways. Or you have the war mode situation where the Alliance side needed a 30% bonus to catch up, and then people are like, oh, I'm going to Alliance for gear. It just feels like a balancing nightmare at this point.
I agree, and I think I don't think we necessarily need to demolish the Alliance and the Horde. They can still exist, right? You can still be a Horde player. You can still be an Alliance player. War mode can still be its thing, et cetera, et cetera. But some kind of interaction, some overlap for PvE. I mean, we already see it in PvP. You see Horde v Horde. They're just queued as Alliance, right? You see that what is called mercenary or something like that.
Yeah.
Very similar in that aspect to where you can be who you want to be, play how you want to play, but there can be more depth and there can be more of that interaction from different positions in the game.
We had one thing that is going a little bit towards that with the introduction of what is it called? Elixir of Tongues.
The talking.
Oh yeah.
That's the first time ever that we're able to, if both people, both factions decide to, they both pop it, they can actually interact with each other, which is something that we couldn't really do before outside of emoting. So that was introduced. So maybe that does mean that there's something that's gonna happen after this. BFA is all about Horde versus Alliance, and that's when we are introduced to this. Is it a flask? No, well, it's an elixir. We're introduced to this elixir, and why is that? What's gonna happen after this expansion? Is it gonna be something of a more? Is it gonna break the faction somehow?
Yeah. So I had there are two theories. I mean, these are theories that have been talked about for a while. Some parts of my post were actually taken from past posts I've written. Others have thought of this too. Ever since the faction marketing in BFA got very extreme and tiring, everyone's been talking about this. But I could see it going two ways if they still want to have a divide for whatever reason. One way is that everyone, basically goes along. Alliance and Horde are working together, but Sylvanas, has a group that's based more on death. So you have Anduin, he's in charge of, life, and maybe you have the Lightbound undead becoming a thing with Kalia and Derek. And then you have Sylvanas using her magic of undeath, thinking that that's a better way to, fight against the powers of the void. So you sort of realign the factions that way. The other way that's been speculated is that you could belong to more than one camp. So maybe you've got this sort of neutral camp in the middle that's like the Jaina Thrall Coalition, and then there are fringe groups on either side, like, Tyrande is tired of being stepped on and then having to put things aside for the greater good. And then you have like the diehard Horde and Sylvanas followers on the other extreme. So yeah, those are two different ways I could see it going. I think that realigning it, I sort of like the first one better, I guess, just because I like when everyone's happy, and I don't know. I sort of like the idea that like Sylvanas becomes Lich Queen of some sort, because I think there's a lot of hints that like Bolvar's daughter just magically appears in Battle for Azeroth. So to me, that
Right,
sets
that
up
still
more
of,
of
been
like a
touched yet.
confrontation. Yeah, and then we've got Vol'jin, who is talking about the Shadowlands to sort of come back from the dead as well. So I think I think it would be interesting to tie that story together and maybe learn if Sylvanas sort of went further down her dark path after she saw the vision of hell when she committed suicide in Icecrown Citadel. And I almost wonder if that was like an old god vision or not. And I think that she needs, if we tie the story back to the Lich King, there might be some closure on that part of the story for her, because she felt very empty after the Lich King died and her life had no purpose. And then she was terrified that if she died, she would be in like eternal hell. So I don't know. I think tying the story back to the Lich King could be a good way of having some character development and some closure of. But yeah, interesting to see how that will all turn out. There was another interesting line from a Polygon interview. It was a tiny, tiny line, but they were talking about how it made sense for the Horde to have strife in early BFA, and then they said for the Alliance don't have that same division in their ranks just yet, and there isn't that same natural point of choice. And everyone is like really obsessed with the word yet.
Just yet, yeah.
Yeah. And if we have this idea that like the Jaina patch, focused on Jaina, and then so the Horde have turmoil, and then like the Ashara patch is the midway point where people are trying to work together, then the Sylvanas patch could be where we learn more about Sylvanas and her, Warcraft 3 history, but we see the Alliance start to have cracks in it. Like maybe Tehran's like, that's nice, Jaina and Thrall. I'm glad I helped you in Warcraft 3 when I put my reservations aside. Like, you want me to help you again? Well, why should I help this Tauren? Why should I help Thrall and Sourfang? Sourfang led the attack on Teldrassil. So what's changed, Jaina? I've changed. I don't want you to keep, using the Night Elves for your greater good and then, abandoning us. Like, I could really see Tehran being a wild card. I mean, just like Jaina is all like, "Oh, we need your help," and she's like, "Okay, like, where were you when Teldrassil happened? You only care when you're concerned about Thunder Bluff."
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of Thunder Bluff, I mean, are we expecting something to happen in Thunder Bluff in similar fashion to Teldrassil at this point? And for 8.3 as an example?
I don't know. Like, I would just say no, only because I think Sylvanas is playing a bigger game right now. And I think Sylvanas will be like, I want to like destroy or consume an old god and then wipe out everything. Like, I feel that she's playing a bigger game than we are aware of at this point. And Teldrassil, I think, had special significance between Elune and the idea of the World Tree, and wanting to take out the Alliance first. But I feel like with Thunder Bluff, it doesn't have that same sort of mystical significance, and I could see her doing something different for the Horde instead, where maybe if all the leaders are now sort of trying to be united and happy, maybe she would try to let them pretend to start a revolution, get them into the same place, and then try to kill all the leaders at once. I could see her doing something like that instead. Using her Valkyr. Or that's also interesting. Like, she doesn't have very many Valkyr left. No. What if something happened to the Valkyr, so she just would, execute her backup plan, which is like, okay, like, I'm about to die, like the Valkyr are almost gone. Let me unleash this horrible, crazy thing just to ensure I don't get sent to, that hell in the Shadowlands.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's so many unknowns with her.
We'll see.
I don't know.
That's the thing, right?
It's a big we'll see, but
That's the thing. Like my suspicion is we have no idea coming, right? Like all this speculation, all of this consideration, man, Blizzard may just completely take it not a completely different direction per se.
Yeah, but
Man,
surprise
they
us
could just-
somehow.
I mean,
Yeah.
all we know is that they said it's like Garrosh's story in some ways, but Sylvanas won't find herself in the same place, and that Garrosh was an amateur.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It's sort of like, okay, well, Garrosh did some stuff with the heart of, an old god. Sylvanas might want to do something bigger with it.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but N'Zoth is physically the largest and from a power scale the most powerful of the old gods.
No, it's the opposite.
Really? Well, I'm wrong. Apparently, that's cool.
He was like the master manipulator, and the idea is like, isn't it interesting that the weakest of the four is the one who outlasted the other old gods?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Cool.
I mean, he definitely seems to be the smartest of the old gods.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
he's voiced by Darren DePaul, which that's just instant amazingness right there.
Yeah.
That man just knocks it out of the
Yeah,
park.
the voice
Good
acting
grief.
is amazing. On the topic
Yeah.
of Thunderbluff as well, and the whole idea of Sylvanas creating a sort of rift between like life and death. Thunderbluff is also a city that kind of represents nature, I guess. So that also gives
Very
another
spiritual.
reason. Very spiritual, which gives her more reason to possibly want to destroy it now with this I don't know if I should call it argument, but this sort of shift in ideas with Bane. So maybe that'll give her more reason to maybe not burn it down, but maybe do something about it to take that spirit away.
Yeah, I mean, there was that line in the pre-patch novellas where Sylvanas was talking about how, she was doing things that the Alliance wouldn't like, but also forces that Elune wouldn't like. So she has a bigger plan in store, and she keeps saying so many times that, death is mine to master, or, I'll let my sisters live, but, they will serve death, they will serve me. So she still has that going on, and we also don't really know what happened with her pact with Helya in Legion. So
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's safe to say BlizzCon this year is probably going to be pretty nuts for WoW. It's it's that every other year thing. 2 years ago we found about but this year probably going to be pretty bonkers for those of us who are still involved and invested as deeply as we are.
Yeah. Do we want to talk a little about the Jaina and Thrall parallels?
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Yeah.
We had so many cinematics of getting to know Jaina in 8.0, and in early WoW, she was this like very smart, talented mage that was also big on peace and diplomacy. And then, in BFA, we saw that she was very insecure and haunted by her past. And then it's interesting with Thrall too, because Thrall was also around, from early WoW, beloved war chief of the Horde, and then he made a series of bad decisions, or he was involved in a lot of traumatic things. He appoints Garrosh as war chief, and then Garrosh, makes everything horrible, and that has to weigh on Thrall. And he eventually kills Garrosh, but he kind of cheats at the duel, and that is like dishonorable. And we sort of see a similar thing with Thrall to Jaina, where Thrall is haunted by his past and thinking that he has to be the savior to fix everything, and he didn't fix everything, so does he have any worth? And I think in Safe Haven and also cinematic, we have a very similar moment to Jaina when she was trapped in the Blighted Lands, where Thrall's like, I let everyone down as war chief, Bane's father, I couldn't prevent that, I appointed Garrosh, and then bad things happen, all these bad things keep happening. So I just thought that was an interesting parallel, and also how in the novel Tides of War, Jaina was concerned that the Horde would be paranoid. She was concerned they would burn Teldrassil, and now Jaina
She
is
was
the
right.
one comforting Thrall when Thrall is like, oh God, what if she burns Thunder Bluff? And I think that shows that Jaina has really matured and stepped back from her immediate anger by being able to, talk Thrall out of that, same sort of line of thinking that, a city was going to burn.
Was anyone else really confused and weirded out when we saw minutes after trying to murder her in BOD?
I think you cut out, or was that just for me?
Yeah, no, you cut out. I was like,
could you
I
repeat
cut
that?
out.
Yeah.
What am I confused about?
Goodness. Oh, jeez. I said, was anyone else confused and or weirded out when we were under Orgrimmar and my character as a Horde player interacting with Jaina mere minutes after trying to murder her in the Battle of Dazar Lord? And we're all buddy.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Jaina.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that since I don't play Horde. Okay. Yeah, I can imagine that feeling weird.
Well, at least she's quick to forgive. We got that going for us.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with I feel like the whole thing with Sourfang is going to blow up at some point because, like, going back to the Night Elves, like, why would they want to help a coalition with Sourfang when he was the mastermind behind Teldrassil? Like, Sylvanas had the idea, but he was the war general, and eventually he realized it went too far. But he was the master strategist.
And what a strategy that was, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Burn, Teldrassil, burn.
So,
for the record, I don't support Sylvanas. I just want to put that out there.
So, anything else from the cinematic that stands out? I think they're interesting bookends. Like, they're very different in tone, and like one is very uncertain, while the other is like, yay, peace. But when you think about them more, there's hidden layers, and your sort of opinion of them changes after. You're like, oh yeah, Jaina feels so good. Oh, it's different. Oh, the Night Elves probably don't want to be part of this. Oh God, this is gonna blow up. So.
Yeah, I think that, it's a beautiful cinematic, and yeah, there are a lot of these undertones and whatnot. But for me, and I can only speak to my own personal feelings, obviously, but for me, like, it makes me that much more interested in where the story is going. I know there have been complaints about, plot devices and plot armor and this and that and the other, but at this moment, I want to know what happens next. Like, I want to know how Eternal Palace is going to unfold. What cinematic, presumably, are we going to see there? What happens after Queen Azshara is either dealt with or she runs away, or again, whatever happens there, we don't know, as far as I know, right? I want to know. I'm curious. I'm invested at this point in time, and I think that as 8.2 unfolds and 8.3 is revealed, whether by Blizzard before BlizzCon, at BlizzCon, whatever, I think something's coming, man. Something's gonna go down, and it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I'm curious what the plot twist will be with Sylvanas, because if we're going to see what her endgame is, that's revealed, which I assuming she's, going to get the Jaina or Azshara treatment. There has to be something compelling besides, like, mustache twirling villain of like, like, I will now set up a trap so these people die, and I'll set up another trap so someone else dies. Like, they've got to keep people engaged. So, I think that I don't think she'll suddenly become good, and I think that'd be like lazy storytelling too. But
yeah, I agree.
I look forward to learning more about what she is trying to do with the undead, and if she gets the Jaina treatment. She's also a character where a lot of her important story happened before World of Warcraft and Warcraft 3. I look forward to getting like little in-game cinematics where we actually better understand her formative process, and how she like fought to gain her independence, and how the Alliance rejected her, and then how the Horde didn't really want her either, and what was actually going on in her mind with Wrathgate because of that controversial quote.
What quote are we referring to? The one where she might have been behind it the whole time?
Yeah, Alice. He was like, oh, she's always thought this is the Wrathgate. Like she knew some of what was going on, and you're like,
gotcha.
Oh, well, what part of it?
Yeah.
So,
what
a lot went on. What did she know? Although I still maintain
it's about to go down.
Yeah. So that is that. And we wrote detailed things on both cinematics. So if you have any thoughts on them, you can drop them in the comments. posts.
Mm-hmm.
I really like writing them. During the day, I have to make sure the site isn't on fire. But
it's really
you know,
nice reading them too. Like what I normally do, I watch the cinematic and then I kind of like just read about it too, because it gives a lot more depth. Maybe might even mention some things that you didn't think about or didn't notice. So it's great with these sort of I don't know if I should call them a recap, but analysis.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So like I try to like make sure the site isn't on fire during the day, and then like after hours I just sort of write these for fun, and I try to get like 1 or 2 of these analysis articles up per week because they're really fun. Before WoW I did a lot of like museum work and archive work, so I always think it's neat to keep that part of my mind I guess exercising it and try to like write up a literary or visual analysis. So I'm glad it's fun to read. I try to make them sound
really
interesting
is.
and not just like
Absolutely.
boring facts.
Yeah, before WoW, I had hair, so I understand. There's a lot of
Things change.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you periodically wear wigs.
Yeah, no.
So,
the cinematic was really cool, and it's going to be interesting to see how these relationships will unfold and what will happen after, and will things be different this time? We'll see. What will happen to Thunderbluff? Is it gonna burn? Probably not.
I think it's gonna burn. It's going down.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I was going the opposite way. I was thinking like, wow, that looks really nicely rendered in the cinematic. Like, will Thunderbluff get a modern up-res?
Yeah,
and be like a high resolution zone in next expansion.
Be a pile of ashes. That's all it's gonna be.
Whoa.
A pile of ash.
So you don't care about the other
you're the
races
Horde.
of
like,
your faction?
I didn't say I didn't care. I'm just saying what I think's gonna happen.
Yeah, but you seem like you're not opposed to it.
Well, it's not that I'm not listen, I started when I started playing in early 05, my first character was a Tauren warrior. Mulgore, Thunderbluff, near and dear to my heart. But at the end of the day,
is it dear to your heart? Talking about it being burnt?
You question my allegiance.
It's like, yeah, it's gonna have an uplift, in ashes.
I'm the kind of individual I like when things change. I like when people are,
getting
like,
destroyed.
Oh God, Thunderbluff! It's like, I like stuff like that.
Okay.
It's an MMO. It should change and evolve, and we may
I
agree
agree
with
with
some
that.
things and disagree.
Nobody goes to Thunderbluff, and now everyone's like,
exactly. Burn it to the ground. Who cares? Let's go. Everyone consolidate to Orgrimmar. Let's go. We got a nice little portal room. Let's make it happen.
Oh my God. Well, then again, Thunderbluff is also a bunch of mountains, so maybe you need something more to destroy it. Maybe you need the Tidestone.
Yeah. There you go. Just rubble. That's ash and rubble. There you go. Fair point. Fair point.
Bring it all to the ground. Yeah, no, I guess we'll see. I mean, the cinematic does mention burning, so because of that, I don't think it's actually gonna burn, but it'll be interesting to see what will happen.
Yeah, I just think Sylvanas is 2 steps ahead, so now we're all like, oh no, Sylvanas is gonna burn something, and she's like, oh yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah. No, it's like it's gonna be
care.
next level, Burning has already been done. Like, why repeat yourself?
He's like, I don't need to burn you. I can just like mind control all of you into serving my will.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yep.
So
well, with that, I think we can move on, maybe.
Yeah, I think for our like final discussion topic, before I just highlight Wowhead guides, everyone was like, oh, 8.2, this will like revamp BFA, like is BFA alive or dead, is it saved? And I just thought it might be interesting to discuss like things that were like actually improved, things that Blizzard was hyping up that were maybe more the same, and things that everyone is on the same page are still kind of weak or the same. So as an example, like things that haven't, like, there's still a faction conflict that has not changed, like that's out there, but something that is improved, I would say, would be the essence system. And then one of the things in the middle is Blizzard talking about how legendary, like the whole legendary system, it was like artifacts and collectible, but I think that's sort of in the middle because it's not really as deep as getting personal transmog. So yeah, those are just some examples. So what are things we think that are like Blizzard said was improved that we think are improved as well?
I mean, to kind of add on to what you were saying in regards to essences, taking it back a step. I think 8 point, what was it, 1, when they added just an additional ring to the Azerite system, that was a good improvement. For me, that felt good. And now that the essences are involved, I'm interested in pursuing them. Like, I want to go out and I want to gather the essences. I want to empower them. I want to be involved with the content that's currently in the game. And just to speak plainly, I haven't really felt that way for the past couple of months. I make a living streaming. World of Warcraft is my primary game. And there were days where it was a little difficult finding something that I want to do in the game. And right now, and yes, this is what you expect when new patch hits, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having so much fun. I'm loving the Nazjatar experience. I'm doing my world quests. For better or for worse, whether we're talking about AP, WQs, whatever, I think that as it stands right now, 8.2 has definitely breathed a bit more new life into the game. And I think that's a good thing for everyone, whether you play casually or hardcore, PvP, PvE. There's something to pursue. There's something to chase and grind, or whatever terminology you want to use. It's there right now. And it may not be your cup of tea. I get it. Classics coming out in a couple of months. Whatever you want to do, have fun doing it. But right now, there's more to do in BFA than there has been, and I think that's a good thing for all of us.
Yeah, I think
I agree.
A big improvement is when you said there's more to do in BFA than there has been. I felt like a lot of the early zones were pretty, but there was a very obvious path you were meant to take and do.
Right.
And, like there wasn't much sense of exploration and excitement in early BFA. Like, there weren't any like weird rare spawns or events or just things to collect for fun. It was very much like, okay, you do this thing to get this RNG piece of gear, and then you do this other thing to get gear. And it's sort of like, well, maybe I just want to feel immersed in the zone. Like,
absolutely.
Maybe I'm not a big raider. Maybe I just want to have fun and, feel lost in like a fantasy underwater thing. So I think that BFA improves people that just want to, have like a little fun project to do for a few hours of, game time, go farm some rares, go collect some Azeroth minis, and just sort of have fun and play how you want to, instead of having this checklist of things you need to do to the item level of your character.
I think so often, we as players forget that if you're a Mythic Plus dungeon grinder, that's just an aspect of the game, right? There's so much more that you can dig into, and you hear people and listen, I've been guilty, make fun of pet battles or make fun of this or make fun of that, and it's all in jest, I'm sure, in most cases. But like you look at the extra pet battle dungeon that came out this patch, is that correct?
Yep, Stratum.
Stratum.
You look at another Mythic Zero, which we assume is going to turn into 2 more Mythic Plus dungeons.
And there's a hard mode as part of it, a secret hard mode.
Yes, absolutely. A callback to Ulduar. I mean, there's so much to just get involved with and to dig into this patch. And I truly think it's probably one of the bigger patches of all time. And certainly the content is just, it's available right now. And yes, there are still some time gates and some things that are, set 2-3 weeks in the future. But as a whole, if you've been waiting, I promise Blizzard isn't paying me to say this. If you've been waiting to get back into BFA, come have fun, right? Like, just come enjoy it. You may like it, you may not, whatever floats your boat, but there really is more to do now than there has been, and there's a lot to enjoy. I mean, Nazjatar is beautiful. There's, oh man.
Something else.
Nazjatar and Mechagon together offer very different experiences, but fun ones for people that want to do stuff out of the gear grind. So like Nazjatar is more the high fantasy zone where you get to meet the character that's been, hyped up for decades. And Mechagon is the cool, like, secret steampunk zone that's lighter in nature. So, if you want to break from all like the and faction conflict of BFA, you can just, go collect, paint vials for cats and get cute battle pets and stuff like that.
I was going to say something, but now I forgot what it was.
I'm sorry, that's my fault.
No, no, it's fine. But something else that I also wanted to comment, though, is we feel that there's a lot to do and everything. And the question is, how long will that last? Because that's another thing. It feels amazing and great right now. And maybe it will for a while. Maybe it won't. How will it feel in 2 months? So that's why it can be sometimes, it can be kind of hard to be like, 8.2 definitely saved BFA, because BFA is a constant evolving thing that we keep needing to be updated to be interested. And I just remembered the other thing that I wanted to mention, actually. Professions.
Yeah.
Isn't this the first time that the profession skill level is increased in the middle of an expansion?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, maybe. I
And
mean, like they've
that's
definitely
interesting too,
introduced
because
things.
yeah, they've introduced different patterns and things like that, which are sometimes
But-
higher item level or similar. But I
Right.
think this is the first time they actually increased the ceiling of the profession,
Yeah.
which
Which,
is
you
another
know-
reason to go there and work towards it, like just one
Yeah.
other thing to
Yeah,
work on.
professions were one of the BFA launch things people thought was really lackluster after all the excitement of Legion and like all the little things we learned as we did each line. So if you thought professions were sort of blah at the start of BFA, between the tools of the trade in 815 and this, you may find professions more interesting again.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I love the idea of working on things for my main, and then now I have one additional thing. It's expensive right now, but working on the professions at this point in the expansion randomly feels very fresh. It's normally
I
the feeling I
agree.
only have at the beginning of the expansion.
There's every player experiences and wants something different out of the game. I'm the kind of person to where if you give me something, I probably mentioned this earlier, I'm sorry, but something to chase, that pursuit, there's a reason why I play MMOs. There's a reason why I've been playing WoW for 50 whatever years now. It's because I want that progression, you know, and it's not just rating progression. I want that sense of progression for my character. That's why, hailing back to Legion, the artifact system, the legendary system, yes, there were fallbacks, and yes, there were issues with them, and I think most of those things might have been addressed. I think they were as that expansion unfolded. That's something that has been lacking, as Perk said, a bit with BFA, and putting things in, even though it's after launch, putting these things in now is better than not having them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it shows they're trying to adjust to feedback, and
Right.
I don't know, maybe they thought that, times have changed, people want to play differently, so we'll adjust how the game to the modern standards. But they're like, no, like, our people just want this core fantasy MMO. Like, Ian has said that a few times in interviews, how he said we've moved too far away from the core fantasy of classes. And in another interview, he was talking about, if we keep having these expansion-specific systems, like, you don't feel like you have constant systems that are evolving and being exciting with you, and we've sort of sacrificed them being exciting in favor of the temporary ones. So maybe they're trying to get back to their roots with things that are tried and true, like, Nazjatar and Mechagon trying to be like Timeless Isle, or other things that are not RNG they can actually sort of spend a lot of time working towards, because that's what I found. I think you guys are streamers. I'm in this weird place where I'm not a streamer, but I think about WoW a lot. But there are so many people where they don't have endless time to play. And it's discouraging if you do an activity and it's all RNG and you have limited time and you walk away with nothing.
Yeah.
And if you want to take a break from gear grinding, like, you have slim pickings. So I think if you wanted to spend like your Saturday afternoon playing for 4 hours, if you do something fluffy in Nazjatar or Mechagon, you can feel that you got some, pets or recipes, or you have something to show for it. It's just like a fun diversion. Yeah.
It feels you're actually able to accomplish something and show it, right? You're able to actually showcase, hey, I invested X hours. Here's what I got out of it.
I mean, I was talking about myself earlier. I was like, yeah, guys, I killed half the rares last night, So I'm there like flexing, and I'm sure everyone else feels something similar with whatever they were doing. But yeah, sorry, Perk, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was saying, I was like, I think it's important that, and then it just totally went out of my head. So yeah, get back to me.
That's my fault. I'm sorry. That's me.
Yeah.
Blame Brutall.
We're just going to be jumping back and forth between the different topics. Well, I mean, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe because there's so much stuff right now, right?
I
was always going to say that the pacing of 8.2 with Classic. So there was this huge lull between Season 2 and 8.15 was like kind of minor. And then it got really bad. And, people were sort of losing interest going to Wowhead, and then Classic hit, and then Classic was a nice boost for the site. So I almost wonder I don't know if they do this intentionally, but I wonder I don't even want them to do this, but if they would have 8.2 and it would be enough to give you hype as the raid is cleared through end of, and then be like, oh look, Classic is out. Everyone get distracted by Classic for a month or two, and then they do 8.3.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that would
so
be
like 4
weird
months.
because
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a little weird if you only wanted to play like the retail version, or you don't have the time to invest in Classic and you're bored being like, okay, well, what do I do in the meantime? But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I could see them alternating it. Although, on the other hand, the beta has been, pushing out their updates at the same time as 8.2. So I don't know. Maybe that's just a fear. I would just hate if they added all this content and then messed up the pacing of BFA just to get people being like, oh, you're bored. Go play Classic. Force you to play Classic,
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's also why we now have an incentive to sub for 6 months.
Full circle. Here we are.
Yep.
Back to the beginning of the show. So this is why.
Exactly.
The next raid is not coming out anytime soon. No, but it's nice to have this really fresh feeling right now.
Yeah. It does feel very fresh, and I think the type of stuff in the patch are things that have longer durability than 8.15.
Oh, yeah.
Which, yeah, like 8.15 was just like, oh, you have Brawlers Guild. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I still have one achievement to do there.
Oh, yeah.
I still have to do it.
Yeah. This was one thing that I thought it could be better, or, if you didn't like this in early BFA, you probably are still like, about it now, is the story. So a lot of, in past expansions, the story felt very open world. You were going around saving all these civilians in Suramar and feeling like you had agency. But in BFA, it feels a bit more that you're following leaders around as they do crazy things, and you don't know what the end is. And that does continue in 8.2. Like we were just talking about, like, oh, I was just killing Jaina, and now
I'm talking to her.
Working with her as the Horde, or I'm defying Sylvanas, but I'm on a boat with Nathanos with Zalatat. Like, so there is still this sense that like your character is sort of more along for the ride, or like you don't feel as in control of your actions, like almost like it's like an interactive single player like RTS campaign versus like, oh, I'm exploring for fun. But while this isn't a knock against the cinematic or the quality of the storytelling. It's sort of a weird clash where it feels like you're like being part of a movie, but you don't have agency. But hopefully the exploration in Nazjatar and Mechagon can make you feel like you're exploring the zones on your own merit. But if you are concerned about the story sort of having like very weird, mysterious things happening that you don't understand or you disagree with, that is still persisting in 8.2.
Good to know.
I don't want to send us down a crazy tangent, but I feel like I should ask. We've heard in the past, much like Thrall, Green G, why is he so that, and now people are excited to see Thrall again. In the same vein, we've heard in the past, our player characters, they're so OP. Why am I a commander? Why am I this? Like, it's interesting to kind of see that pendulum swing, right? We come into so much power. We're known as a god amongst mortals. And now the storyline kind of depicts us as, well, I'm just going to follow people around for a while. I hope this is okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because in early WoW, we were just exploring and being like, whoa, this world is so big, and like there's all this crazy stuff. And then in Cataclysm, it was a big change where it's like, oh, you're the hero. You'll, save Menethil from flooding. You'll do this. And we were just like saving everything. And I'm like, this feels very old. And then we were always in this position of being the champion. And, like, oh, warlords, it's our garrison. It's our artifact. We're the chosen one. And I feel like BFA is trying to send some of that up by being like, hey, sometimes you make stupid decisions, or, like you're not, like, you keep, we think we're like saviors of peace and, solving everything, but we keep fighting these big baddies or having crises that we create. So, I don't know, maybe it's sort of trying to highlight the limitations of sort of the story and try to push it into something more sophisticated, where it's like, we might have raw power, but we're kind of idiots and we're making bad things happen.
Yep.
But I don't know. It is very different from Classic, where you're just like, oh, I'm killing boars and my character has no expectations, so I know RP them a certain way, or attribute a personality to them. Now it's like, you are the chosen one who has brought the dagger of old gods to Sylvanas, and you're like, whoa, like I didn't want that.
Yeah.
The stakes are a lot higher now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we don't have any more thoughts on the sort of the pros and cons of 8.2, we can just wrap things up to see if people have any questions on guides on Wowhead, or I'm sure everyone watching the show knows we have guides, but if there's anything you guys think would be interesting to highlight, I just want to highlight the Essence guides, the Nazjatar guide, and the Mechagon guide as the things we're seeing a ton of eyeballs on. And as part of that, we've been making a lot of site updates to track things like today in WoW, or pages for each part of Azeroth, Essence, or Model Viewer got a big update recently, so that was pretty.
That looks nice.
That's
know,
awesome.
It's so satisfying.
It's been, you said, what, 10 years that you've been trying to get something like that done?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I first started, I'm like,
man.
I'm doing pictures for this guy as a volunteer, why does it bad? And it's like, well, it's a long story, and we can't fix it now. And it's like, oh, yeah, it is actually difficult to fix and redo. But we did it finally, and
That's awesome.
things look a lot more realistic. And that's why I was actually, when the shop mount, every time there's a shop mount, I always cringe, because I'm like, oh, they always have a cool effect. But when I link it in the model viewer, it looks kind of crappy. And now I'm like, oh, yeah, bring on the wings. Like, we can show this correctly now. It's so exciting.
I see a very important question in the chat. Somebody who's doing the Stratton Pet Dungeon says that he quotes this, which is said by shadowy figures, but she is sending me on those annoying missions. The question is, do you think our own followers hate us?
I think they do, especially the garrison ones.
Oh, yeah, the garrison
We just
ones.
show up, we bulldoze their land and make a garrison, and then we're like, oh yeah, you guys run this garrison that you didn't want in the first place.
It's amazing.
Oh god, garrison was an interesting time. A lot of followers, lost count.
Yeah, there were hundreds from the inn you could get. That was pretty fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a lot. I prefer the system with just a few followers on the mission table.
See, I'm the opposite. I know WOD is talked about in a million different ways, but I personally really enjoyed having this giant list of followers to pick and pull from. Plus, I miss the gold missions. I wish they'd bring those back.
I don't think the followers were bad on its own. It's just that the content pacing was
I agree.
bad. I did think I like the idea that you could make the different buildings and you could get certain things each time.
Yeah, I like that too.
And
you had to make a decision which ones you want.
I had this little game going where I was trying to recruit followers, and I only wanted night elf followers. So I would ask to see certain combinations of you would be like, oh, only night elves have this ability. Let me see if I can pick the one with that ability. And I think I finally got a full night elf roster by the end of the expansion, but they were just you could do a lot of little fun things with the garrison. And I also thought, in its strange way, it promoted a lot of socializing, because if your friend had a building you didn't have, or an invasion was up you didn't have, you could start groups and invite people to get the benefits of your garrison.
I like the garrison in general, honestly. I mean, it may not have been the best of what it could be, but I think the idea was pretty cool, and having
it was
your
the right
own
idea.
building your own little auction house was also cool. And but the whole follower thing, I don't know if it's the completionist in me. I just didn't like how it was so just overwhelmingly many options. I didn't feel like
gotta go out and collect them all. Gotta catch them all.
I didn't feel like there was a way to collect everything. I think I'm still missing a couple.
You just go to the inn every day. That's why I was trying to get the night elves. I had so many followers because I wanted all those night elves.
Hi, Luna.
But yeah, I think WOD sort of had the idea of things that were cut too. We didn't get Karabor, which was we didn't get the cities. They did a lot. I actually, at the time, I didn't realize all the little nuances that was going into the parallel lore worlds. Between the main universe and this alternate universe. And I know some of those were cut or weren't developed, and I think that the expansion would have been a lot more interesting if they fully committed to, I don't know, showing how history was repeating itself, or the backstory of the orcs, but also the Draenei as well. Like if there was meant to be a raid on Shatra that was cut, I think that would be pretty fascinating. Or if it touched upon some of the ongoing turmoil between, what ended up happening in the Maghar orc scenario, I think that would all be interesting.
Yeah.
And
By the way, I'd like to thank you for pointing out just how bad my lighting is when I have my desk in the standing position.
Did somebody do that?
No, like your lighting is amazing.
Oh.
You have washed out Brutall over here.
Unintentionally.
It's ridiculous, man. Look at this. It's ridiculous.
Oh, what lights do you use?
Grief. It's a Walmart light for $15. It's just it's a lamp. Look.
That's why.
It's a lamp.
That's why. So ever since I changed my light to the Elgato key lights, it's been amazing.
Yeah. Oh, my camera's messed up. Sorry, I do this all the time.
That's okay.
My bad.
They can be a little bit pricey, but if you're like a full-time streamer, then they're worth the investment.
Absolutely. I just haven't done it myself.
They're also like clamped onto the table. So I have a table that I can move up and down. Is that what you have too? Because I noticed you were standing.
Yes. Standing desk. Yeah.
Yeah. So mine is a sit and stand. So whenever I move it to be in like standing position, the lights move with it because the lights are clamped onto the table.
Okay.
So then it never messes up how close the lights are to me, because that's something that I used to struggle with before. My lights that were on the floor, whenever I would go into standing mode, I would suddenly be really, really white, like from the light.
So that's guilty as charged.
So I understand your struggle. But it doesn't
I
look
have
too bad,
desk
though,
lighting
honestly.
in my picture.
I'm surprised that was just a regular lamp like that. It doesn't look too bad.
I am for what it is. I agree, but I should upgrade. You've prompted me to probably upgrade my my equipment. So thank you for that.
Good luck with it. I think it's probably worth. And yes, we got Perk here with a very, very nice camera.
Yes.
With
absolutely.
The lighting
Paw
is great
there too. Yeah, the lighting is great.
Nothing is wrong with the lighting.
The way it just emphasizes Bright Paw's crown as well. I think it looks great.
Yeah. Sass is not here, but he was saying that Bright Paw is not getting in that much trouble this trip, so that was good.
That's good.
He was actually falling asleep on his chest.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen some cat pictures on Twitter, Brutall. But last time Bright Paw was babysitting, he destroyed a pet cage of hermit crabs. He just tore into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Poor crabs.
I remember
Usually
that.
he's in trouble.
Bright Paw is the best, and we get to see him perma on the screen this way in the picture.
Yeah.
Round.
Otherwise, he runs away after the 2-minute intro that we get normally with him at the beginning of the show. But yeah, I think. But
are there any Wowhead things you guys want to highlight that could be useful? You mean besides like the obvious stuff like the essences and Nazjatar?
Wowhead.com. What more is there to say? This
it has everything.
No, I mean, listen. I know this is a Wowhead stream, and I'm talking to Lady Wowhead over here, but seriously, it's just. It's been really cool to see the growth and just the evolution of the site, and it's you need to know about essences, pet battles, this, that, the other. There's a guide, right? I'm not trying to be in shill or sell mode, but it's just the truth. It's one of those things to where when I'm streaming and playing WoW, obviously the first place you go to to look up a comment on a new quest or something is Wowhead, and that's just the way it's been forever.
Oh,
yeah, if you need to know something about
if you're
one
stuck
of the
in
new
anything.
systems, just it's there.
Yep.
And if it's not, tag Peculia, tag her on Twitter and complain. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be done. Tag her on Twitter. Be like,
you should if you see me tweeting about like my cat or fashion, you should definitely reply about the site. I absolutely love when people do that.
Oh my god.
I'm playing all the time. Like, what are you doing?
But yeah, no, I do look at the feedback. Like I'm always looking at like analytics to see what is doing well, or if I think something should be doing better that people aren't using. I try to give that like an extra boost. And we do have a feedback inbox that we read every day. So if you have really detailed feedback, it's better to send that to feedback@wowhead.com, because you can, if you are very terse on Twitter, sometimes I don't really know what the feedback is and you don't have time to explain it. But the email is a good place to write all your detailed feedback for the site.
Yeah, that's good to know. Feedback at wowhead.com, was it?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, pretty self-explanatory then. So perfect if you have any comments that you want to leave to Wowhead.
Yep.
And I think
Oh.
with that, it's time to wrap up the show.
That's who says
Yeah.
I get to plug myself now. I don't know if we should believe it or not.
Yes, this is the time for you to plug yourself. We do have Brutal's full name under his camera, in case you're not sure how to spell it. There's 2 L's, which threw me off for a moment, actually.
You know, fun. I stole my name from. Okay, so real quick, I used to play this game called EverQuest, a really old game, but
Oh,
man,
yeah.
predecessor to WoW. And there was this warrior tank in EQ that I looked up. I was 13. I literally just I idolized this guy on my server, and his name was Brutal. I stole his name when I started playing WoW.
You
Don't
Wow.
tell
Now
me.
we need to kick you off the stream.
So not only does
Sorry,
he
I took-
steal intros, he steals names too.
How dare you? The accusations flying. Anyway, no, but it's Brutal with 2 L's and Static. I'm found on Twitch and YouTube. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm a long-winded guy. My wife is 7 months pregnant. She's home for the summer
Aw.
because she's a teacher. She's taking the next year off. We've tried our best to plan this out. She's actually helping me manage stuff this next year. So she just got done revamping a lot of my stuff on YouTube, and she's helping me build a better merch store. She's basically the brains behind this whole operation. So if you see some new and improved stuff, you can thank her. She's awesome. And we
That's
actually
really
just got
sweet.
those 3D. We just got those 3D ultrasound images done today. So
Ooh.
we got to see our daughter, like,
Oh.
you know, in that
your
really
first
nice
one was
picture,
a
so she's
son, was it?
beautiful. Yeah, we have a
You
little
have
boy,
one
and he's
each.
almost 3. Yeah, we're excited. So
Ah.
we're very excited. But she's been rocking and rolling for the past 2 weeks. So you can find me and by extension us, Brutal Static with 2 L's, Twitter, Twitch, etc. If you have any complaints about anything that I do or that I don't do, tag me on Twitter at Ketsuki_wow. All complaints are funneled and filed at that Twitter site. Again, that's
Any
at
issues?
Ketsuki.
Any issues? If you're DC from
Wow,
the
yes.
game, just tweet.
Yes.
Yes.
All issues and complaints go there, please. No,
If you
please, guys,
haven't,
feel free
if you don't know something in the game and you think it's on Wowhead, don't go to Wowhead, but ask it instead.
Yes.
That's yep, that's true. No, but
that's the
just
plan.
feel free. I stream WoW basically every day of my life. So if you ever want to come hang out, stop on by, say hi.
Well, there you
Ketsu,
go.
please stop this.
We can also link at twitch.tv/brutalstatic.
Oh,
There we
I'm
go.
getting a plug
A
in
quick
chat.
link.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So now even the lazy people can go ahead and click it.
Wow. Go follow the channel. Follow.
But yeah, no, but really, Brutal, thank you very much for joining us today.
No,
I find
thank
it
you.
funny that Brutal at the very beginning said, "Hi, I'm boring" or something like that, and I'm just like, I feel like you've added so much flavor to today's show.
Well,
It's been great having you.
I
Yeah.
genuinely enjoy doing stuff like this, and it's always fun, and I'm always incredibly appreciative of the opportunity because not everyone gets it, and I
Aw.
try to stay as humble
Aw.
as possible.
It
and
was-
show.
Mm-hmm. No, it was
Showcase
honestly great
these-
having you here. Your input has
Yeah,
been
I'm
great
really
being
happy.
truly.
You know, we weren't sure if we were gonna do the show early or not, or if we could have a guest or not, and then Hitsuki just made you appear, and I'm
Yeah,
really happy
she
we
just-
had you discuss all the
like magic.
She's a rock star. Ketsu deserves all the praise. She really does. She's a stinking rock star. She reached out to me on Twitter. She's like, "Hey, Brutal, get online." I'm like, "Okay."
That's
we are.
great. That is great. Yeah, but thank you so much. And
thank
chat, remember to give Brutal a lot of love. And this is
More than I deserve.
No. No such thing. No such thing. As much as possible. Always. Thank you to you guys as well in the chat for hanging out, watching, supporting, asking questions. If you have any other kind of comments, feel free to leave them on the Wowhead page for this, or even the YouTube, which will be this video uploaded hopefully within the hour. Any questions that you have, you can put them there, or even come back next week, same time, and ask us at that point. And also a quick shout out to those of you guys who are watching on the Wowhead website. I know we are taking over the front page during these hours. Hopefully it was there was some good information for you to pick up and be more ready for the 8.2 patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Perk is in picture form, but maybe Brutal and I can do a high five. Do you think that'd be
Oh,
possible?
yeah.
Absolutely. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Let's see if I got this right.
That's pretty
No, but
good.
it's-
Okay, so that's a good place. Now you need to go back.
Boom.
Well, no, the location was great, but you know when you do a high five, you need to bend your elbow and then smack, right?
Hold on.
Yes,
I got
that's
this.
perfect.
I'm waiting for the stream to boom. Look at that.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so are you ready for the
Hit me.
countdown?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Am I the one moving only?
I'll move. I just need to know the
I
countdown.
can do the countdown and hit the wall.
Okay.
I think if you do the countdown, there'll be delays that might
Okay,
vary. So okay,
alright.
so Brutal, you do the countdown. Okay?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Huh?
Was that you,
Did it
Perk,
work?
with the sound?
Yes, that was me.
That was
Did it work?
perfect. Yes,
Oh, no,
it
that
was
was-
great.
There was a little we missed. I was too low.
No, it's
a little-
fine. It's fine. It was great. It was
That's all that
perfect.
counts.
We even had a sound effect. Did you notice that, Brutal?
I did. I heard it. I
Yeah.
did hear
It
it.
was great.
Lovely.
I just thought it was hitting the wall, but apparently it was like stuff on the wall, so it had this weird metallic vibration.
Aw.
My mom's probably like, "Why are you hitting my wall?"
Oh no. Oh, that's great. But yeah, thank you so much for the show tonight,
you, too,
Brutal.
truly.
And thank you guys for watching as well. And we will see you again next week. Same time. Around the same time. I think we were actually a little bit early today. But next week,
Yeah, 'cause
regular
you
time.
You were like, you have your Mario fun. tonight,
Yes.
so we made it early.
Super Mario Maker #2 is releasing tonight for me in exactly 20 minutes.
Ooh.
All
So-
right. Oh yeah, you're like, we do the show early, then we have a super long show. So just like,
I know.
yeah.
It would have been so late if we didn't do an early show. But yes, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my night.
Okay, well, you have fun. I
Mhm.
will be reviewing all of our guide back.
Making
and
sure everything
apparently-
is perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
And Brutal will be eating tacos, I guess.
And playing WoW.
Darn right.
Yes.
That's right.
Those
I'll
are
be
our
live
plans.
tonight, wowing it up.
Yes.
That's right.
Bye-bye,
Way around it.
everyone. And we will
Bye.
see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.